The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
The ball sends it over to Edward Robles. Goal! Insert name FC! Let's go, Insert Name FC! What is up, everybody? My name is Hector Flores, host of Insert Name FC, a member of the Belly Up Sports Media Network. Joining me, as always, is my best friend and the other host of the show, Edward Robles.
Hey, what's up, guys?
And best friend of Insert Name FC, our most used super sub as possible. Probably more of a super sub than more than Gareth Bale was when he was a super sub, even Chicharito. And that is, of course, our good friend Kelcey Coin from High Low Sports and a lot of other responsibilities in Belly Up Sports.
What's up, guys? Yeah, no, it is a long laundry list of stuff to add, but no, I always love coming on. We talked about this every time. Love coming on, talking a little bit of soccer, football, whatever you want to call it. At this point in time, we accept all comers for this sport that we love.
Yeah, but speaking about the other football, you just came back from the Fantasy Football Expo. Not sure where it was, but seemed like you guys had a lot of fun. You had your boy DJ, aka Hunter Renfro, going into his inner Ninja Warrior. You guys got to play some flag football. I don't know if Des Bryant was involved there, but you guys met Des Bryant. I'm sure you told him that it was a catch.
Yeah, 100%. No, yeah, it was a lot of fun. So it was in Canton, Ohio, at the Hall of Fame stadium, or at the Hall of Fame Village there. A lot of fun. A whole lot of fun. DJ finished third in the Ninja Warrior competition. Now, don't get me wrong. There's work to be done. If you ask DJ says I can finish first next year. Mind you, he went into this not prepared. So impressive that he finished third. Managed to tweak his ankle before he played flag football, though, unfortunately. So he didn't get to compete. But yeah, Des Bryant was there. Got to meet Des, got to fangirl a little bit. He moved up my list of all-time favorite Cowboys as a Cowboy fan from like third or fourth to definitely first. One of the coolest, most humble guys I've ever talked to before. That was a former pro athlete. Mind you, there's more out there. I know there are. I just haven't had a chance to talk to them yet. But no, it was really cool meeting Des. Met a few other people down there as well. But no, a lot of excitement. I mean, we got to get you up here one time. I know it's a soccer podcast, but we've already dubbed you, Hector, the football guy. So at this point in time, you just got to come up for football, no matter what it is, whether it's the round ball or the oblong shape one.
Yeah, I mean that was. If you guys don't know, obviously, Fourth and Four, the other podcast that Kelcey does, which is with some old familiar friends from back in the Unhinged days, that he does. I think it's also kind of with. I don't know if it's your guys' own thing or is that also with Belly Up Sports, but. It's Belly Up. So yeah, it's a lot of familiar faces from like our back to Unhinged, like Jim and Zach, like two guys that obviously we have so much love and appreciation for just giving us that start. But yeah, with 4 and 4, I used to do their pick 'em with them, and there was actually a point where I almost wanted to pick them, and then I just fell apart. Usually, the best way to describe my life is just going full on, looking really hot, and then. It's been the
Arsenaled it.
I Arsenaled it that. I mean, that's like everything. Like the Belly Up Fantasy Football League, I was literally the best team in the league, and then I just get eliminated in the first round of the playoffs. The March Madness challenge I did with Belly Up also, I had like the best shot at winning it, and then all of a sudden it fell apart because I picked Duke, and so like
never picked Duke.
Yeah, like I am really good at choking.
That's why you're an Arsenal fan.
Oh, whoa, that's what she said.
I don't think she would want to be good at choking. Jeez. All right. Well, how do we rebound from this? Oh, so the crazy plane girl, she came out of the woodwork. I don't know if you heard about that, but she finally came out, did a little video, saying that that was her, that she was the person that said that motherfucker is not real. But yeah, so she's like, so now she's gonna be a big proponent for mental health. Apparently, that's what happened on that incident. But of course, you guys all know she was the meme for. It's funny now that this year each month has its own meme, and she was the meme for last month. So
that's I mean, I guess blame it on something. I guess might as well blame it on a good cause.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, she made it work for herself. Oh yeah, shit. The whole thing with the blind side that was insane. But if you guys don't know, it's an American football. If you guys ever seen the movie The Blind Side, it's supposed to be the life story of Michael Orr. We're finding out now that is not actually as accurate as we thought it was. I mean, Michael Orr has actually mentioned it in previous interviews that one, he was actually really good educational wise, because I mean the movie basically made him stupid. But he was actually, I think he had like a pretty good GPA in high school. So I mean, so that was one thing. But then you find out that like the family that took him in basically just took advantage of his success. So that's a huge lawsuit that's happening. So that movie went from being a great inspiration to now I am burning it.
Yeah, I'm not watching that one anymore right now. That's a tough one.
It's funny because I was actually thinking about watching it a couple of days ago, and I was like, I'll watch it next week.
And we need some inspiration.
Yeah, pretty much. But now I'm just like, I don't know if I should watch it. It's still an inspirational movie, but just
not touching that with a 10-foot pole.
not for the reasons in real life, you know.
Might I suggest Goal or Goal 2 or Goal 3? Maybe not Goal 3. Goal 3 was pretty bad. But might I suggest Goal 1 or 2?
Goal 3 is free on YouTube, so there's always that.
It is.
Goal 1 and Goal 2 is free on YouTube. You can actually find them both. Yeah, we can find them both on YouTube, whether you want to watch it in Spanish or in English.
Don't tell anybody our secrets.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but honestly, Goal 1, yes. Goal 2, meh. And Goal 3, what are you
He's just saying that because he hates the fact that he goes to Real Madrid. And also, they basically in that movie they erased Barcelona's Champions League win against Arsenal.
They do.
Nah, it was just.
I'm going to forever remember Goal as the movie that featured Nick Cannon for some odd reason. Like Nick Cannon, like before everyone thought that this guy was whoring himself out to like America's Got Talent and The Masked Singer and whatever he gets added on to host, like him playing TJ Harper on Goal 2 was just like the most confusing thing in the world. But
oh my god, I didn't even think about that. I literally just had to pull it up. Oh my gosh, this completely skipped over all of my mentality or all of my memories of this entire movie, and I need to go back and watch it now.
I just want you guys to remember that Nick Cannon played TJ Harper on Goal 2 and scored a penalty in the Champions League final.
Wow.
I don't even think Arsenal actually scored a goal in the Champions League final.
I was like, you blew Kelcey's mind over here.
I'm broken right now. Hold on.
Legendary Arsenal player, Nick Cannon,
wow.
aka TJ Harper.
Take a deep breath. You got a paper bag? Take a deep breath, bro.
Oh, I don't have a paper bag. I might need 4. Where's our Canada sponsorship at?
I forgot if this was before or after the song Gigolo.
Was this Drumline 1 or Drumline 2, Nick Cannon? There we go.
We just pull on his whole like cinematography. But yeah, fun fact: if you guys didn't know, Nick Cannon was on Goal 2.
Yeah, you threw Kelcey for a loop.
Yeah. So all right, guys. So this
I'm done for the day.
So this episode, we're actually going to start things off with first week overreactions. Then we'll go into transfer talks. I'm going to have an interview with Stuart Kavanagh. Obviously, he's been, joining me to talk Women's World Cup. So we're going to go ahead and look at the final that's coming up this weekend. Obviously, we'll tell you who's competing once we get to that part because, as just to give you guys a reference, the semifinals haven't happened yet. but we'll be talking with Stuart about that. And then obviously we already previewed last episode. We previewed La Liga, Ligue 1, and the English Premier League. Well, we're gonna preview the next two leagues in the Power Five, and that's the Bundesliga and Serie A, which I did not put Serie A, I put La Liga, but it is the Serie A. Kelcey and Edward were over here messing with me with my poor typing. Announce our players of the week, give you guys some games to look forward to this coming weekend, and we'll do a 3 up, 3 down, continuing on with our series of the new seasons are kicking off, and we'll be doing the Bundesliga jerseys. Obviously, Kelcey being a big lover of Germany, we had to do it.
What? No, just jerseys. Calm down. Not Germany, but jerseys.
Okay, jerseys in general, but we're doing the Bundesliga. So big show. So we're going to take a break just so Kelcey can recollect his thoughts after getting his mind blown that Nick Cannon played TJ Harper on goal too. And
it's going to be a while.
And we'll get back into the show.
Let me tell you guys about Belly Up Sports. Belly Up Sports is the internet sports bar. Go ahead and check out their website, www.bellyupsports.com, to read some great articles from great writers all across the country, from hockey, baseball, golf, soccer, you name it. Belly Up Sports is the premier, not your average website.
And we're back. Make sure you guys follow us on Instagram and Twitter at InsertNameFC. Also, check out Belly Up Sports at Belly Up Sports and at Belly Up Media on Instagram. I just said Twitter, didn't I? On Instagram and the X. Because X gonna give it to you.
Man. X, and then formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah,
like that's
the rest of the sports station just do X/Twitter, so I'm gonna go with them.
The website is still Twitter.com, by the way. So not so
are
much.
You serious?
Yeah, it's still Twitter.com. I mean, not so much of a genius, are you, there, Elon?
Well, no, hold on. It's just like the way he spells his kid's name. It's like a whole bunch of letters and numbers together, but it actually makes like a real name. It's the same thing. It's just X, but it's pronounced Twitter.
The guy really he's obsessed with the letter X. Worked in SpaceX. Actually, I think he owned SpaceX. SpaceX. So like I think he's just obsessed with the letter X. His child is actually called X. So
yeah. Well, his first company was X.
So the man's obsessed with the letter X. That's a cool letter to be obsessed with. I think. I mean, it means a lot of things.
It just means 10.
And
I don't know. Like I don't know where you tried. Like it's like, oh man, I'm 10. All right, yay. But like M. If you were impressed by M, that's a good one to be impressed by. That's 100.
A million. Yeah. Okay, that's a fair point. All right, so obviously the first week of English Premier League, La Liga, and Ligue 1 has happened. Any overreactions that you guys want to go ahead and put out there? And then we'll look back at this and realize we're stupid.
I'm going to let Edward go first on this one.
All right, Edward, I'm sure you're not going to say anything as bad as Timo Werner is going to score 5 goals. So
Nope. Staying in my lane.
So
what's your lane?
What's your overreaction?
Don't.
All right, I'll just start it off. I'll give it.
Yeah, I was like,
I'm gonna just say this right now. It might be a rough year for Real Madrid if they don't get a striker. Like, I mean, yeah, they managed to get a 2-0 victory. I'm not necessarily worried about the goalkeeper position. I actually think Lunin is pretty serviceable, and especially with that back line. But obviously, Eder Militao's ACL injury is also that sucks. You got 2 ACL injuries that happen early in the season. Like, they're done. I mean, luckily, the bright side, I guess you could say, is that they'll be back come next season. But yeah, it's gonna be rough without Thibaut Courtois and Militao. Do I think they need to go after another center back? I not particularly, because I mean you still got Rudiger, you still got Alaba, you still have Nacho Fernandez. So maybe go after a loan for a player, I think would probably be more realistic. But as far as that, like, the back line isn't what concerns me. What really concerns me is like seeing the attack. You can tell Vinicius Jr. is just not comfortable being more central. He likes being in the wing. He likes doing what he does with the ball on the wing, and it was just very clear. Rodrigo, I think he can. I mean, Rodrigo has played a little bit more central a few times, but I mean, I think he wants to play in the wing as well. But I think you need to have at least a 9 there. Like nobody was in the box for those crosses. Nobody, just because these two guys are just not used to being there. So I know that they have Jose Lu. Maybe I don't know if using that diamond formation is going to be something that's going to work for Real Madrid. I think they need to stick with the 4-3-3. It's what has worked for so many years for Ancelotti. So, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But I mean, the obvious issue is the fact that they just don't have that starting 9. And nothing against Jose Lu. I think coming off the bench could be very beneficial, but they need to go get themselves a 9. I understand the whole thing with Mbappe is not happening. Maybe next summer, but they need to go get themselves a 9. Whether it's just to get somebody on loan, or just bring somebody in that for sure can at least fill the void till you get Mbappe next year.
Wow, that's faithful that you get Mbappe next year. Okay, that might be the hot take of this whole thing.
Yeah, I'm getting teased by Mbappe, and I hate it. But we just need a 9 now. Whether it's like just don't commit to Mbappe, but we need to go get a 9, like a for sure world class 9.
I hear Roberto Firmino's out there.
He's in Saudi Arabia.
I was like, he joined the plethora of people in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's Dusan Vlahovic. I think that there's like still maybe like a but kind of thing with Vlahovic. Makes me feel like kind of similar to not Jokic, Jovic. When they went and got Jovic, like, is he a good 9? I mean, it's still up in the air, but it's a but kind of guy. Like Mbappe isn't a but Mbappe is like a for sure thing. So,
well, would you be okay if Real Madrid goes for Vlahovic?
I wouldn't be against it. I think
but
like, I mean, he's not gonna be it's hard to replace Benzema. Like that's just gonna be super difficult to do. Like you can't. It's one of those things that it's going to take a team effort to really like replace what Benzema was able to do for Real Madrid. But like, it's going to be some heavy shoes to like, follow up. I mean, kind of same thing that happened with Hazard. Like he just couldn't live up to that level of Ronaldo. Vinicius is, but like, you just need to bring some type of quality 9. Like Vlahovic, I wouldn't be against it by all means, because I think that there's clearly a quality there. Like there's something that you could say has a lot of potential with him. Obviously, I'm gonna say this player because I'm obsessed with him for some weird reason. I don't know. I think he's another one of my adopted sons, and that's obviously Tammy Abraham. Like I would love to see him in Real Madrid. As a matter of fact, in my FIFA career modes, I have brought in Tammy Abraham to Real Madrid, and I got him the Ballon d'Or, so it's possible. So
anything is possible.
So yeah, that's my overreaction. I think if Real Madrid really does want to do something this season, they got to get themselves a 9.
Interesting. You know what? That'll be. I feel like that's fair.
Okay.
Edward, you want this one, or you want me to go?
I think you could go.
You go.
All right. So you're going for need a striker to. Well, they have a striker. They have a couple of them actually. I'm going to go Newcastle United. Not only defends their top 4, but Alexander Isak will end up a top 3 in the Golden Boot in the Premier League.
Ooh.
Damn.
That's a
big one.
Double dip here. So they're going to finish top 4, go back to Champions League, no matter how they finish in the Champions League. But Alexander Isak will be a potential Golden Boot winner. At least top 3. I'm saying at least top 3 only because Erling Haaland's in that conversation.
Yeah, I was about to say. I was like.
I think what I like about Isak is kind of like what I was saying about Vlahovic. Like he's steadily getting better. Like Isak is still one of those like but 9s. But the fact that he's still young and you're seeing him progress. Like no one expected him to do what he's doing with Newcastle. I think everyone was hoping the potential was there for him. But I mean, he kind of went right into this role and is definitely, taking full advantage of his opportunity right now with Newcastle. I mean, they're so confident in him. They moved on from Woods. I mean, they let Woods go. I think he's over at Burnley now. Burnley or some team that's going to be probably in the lower table. But they moved away from the guy that has EPL experience and went straight to this guy. I mean, he did really well at Real Sociedad. The question was, what was he going to do once he gets to that higher level? And I mean, he's showing it.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because you bags a race over the weekend, involved in a lot of the plays for Newcastle in that 5-1 victory. So it'll be fun to see what Newcastle can do. I mean, it's not far from thinking that oil money is coming to play here, and it's coming into play really, really well for them.
Mm-hmm. All right, Edward, you came up with an overreaction.
No, this is a big overreaction. I'm pretty sure you guys are gonna be like, the fuck. I guess I have a little bit of confidence in Barcelona this season, even though it's really, really hard to do so.
Surprise.
But I feel like Barcelona can actually make it to the final of the Champions League. Yep.
Mm-hmm. We said you couldn't. We said you couldn't be worse than a Timo Werner and 5 goals. I don't know if Hector's going to survive this, so Edward, you're going to have to take over his hosting roles on this one.
I think he'll survive. He'll be all right.
This is the Borussia Dortmund take.
Just saying.
The team that has had to go down to the Europa League like twice now. Wait, Barcelona went down to the Europa League, and they got eliminated by Manchester United.
Yeah. Which sucks, but there's a little bit of faith in here. I didn't say they'll win it. I just said they'll probably make it to the final.
Oof,
somehow, some way. Yeah. Somehow, some way.
There's some hows and some ways.
Let's put it this way. If it's Man City again in the final versus Barcelona, I still say Man City will win. I'm not even going to hold back on that one. But I have a feeling that they can actually make it to the final.
If it was Liverpool versus Barcelona, I'm still taking Liverpool. And Liverpool is not looking good this year.
No, I was about to say, I was like,
Yeah, I think this is a bit of a reach, Edward, but I mean, I can see them get out of the group. I mean, depending what group they get put in, but I can see them getting out of the group, but I don't know about making it to the final.
Well, yeah. We'll see. That's my overreaction.
Well,
that is an over something.
All right. Well, that happened. Edward, thanks, Edward. I really needed a good laugh.
There you go.
All right. So transfer talks. So obviously Andres Iniesta, everybody was speculating that he was going to go and join Inter Barcelona. And well, it didn't happen. He's actually going to go ahead and join, and I can't believe that this is actually a team name, Emirates Club FC. The name they have club in twice. So, if you guys are probably wondering where the fuck is Emirates Club FC at, it is in Dubai. So Andres Iniesta decided to go against the grain. Still kind of similar, same region, but is going into playing in the Middle East and playing in Dubai with a club called Emirates Club FC, Emirates Club Football Club.
I honestly thought he was gonna end up going to Inter, man. I was so fucking really hoping for that shit.
I mean, I guess in this case, like Emirates Club is one thing because it's like that is actually the name of their, I don't know, membership program.
And they say MLS team names are bad.
Oh yeah, I know. This is up there with like this is like in the J League type of stuff, like where they're just like Toyota Honda FC. Like what? Your sponsors by names now?
I was going to say it sounds like
this is like truly an insert name FC.
The Sunday League teams, when they were there, like, hey, what name do you want to be? I want to be Nike FC. Like, I want to
see, but at least Nike FC, there's precedence. It's literally part of their brand, but like Emirate Club, Football Club.
I'd love to be the announcer for that one.
Cringe. That's the cringy one. You know what? That's just we're Emirates FC. Call it swell.
I'm actually gonna skip over this one. I'm gonna just give you guys the update on Mbappe and Neymar. Mbappe is staying after all this drama that PSG has laid out. After Mbappe said that he wanted to, Mbappe literally told everybody what he wanted to do, which was he wanted to play he wasn't going to exercise his third year option. He was just going to go ahead and play the last year of his contract and then test out free agency. And either he went to Real Madrid or anywhere else, but basically he was going to go walk out and join any club for free I mean, aside from having to pay a salary. But obviously, if you're PSG, you don't want that to happen because you want to at least get something out of Kylian Mbappe, and not, letting him walk away and looking like a bunch of idiots. I mean, it's too late for that because you did that with Messi.
Basically did it with, everybody.
Yeah, so Mbappe has made it clear after all this drama, after all this, I guess they didn't really think about this logic, but they tried to sell him to Saudi Arabia. A club was offering him a lot of money, giving him a salary that's way ridiculous to the point. But Mbappe knew that he wasn't going to go there which I think in PSG, I guess, forgot that he has to accept the contract, which he didn't. So then now he's still in PSG. And then you had this whole battle between Real Madrid and PSG, which was clear that PSG did not want to sell Mbappe to Real Madrid. I don't care what anybody says. If Real Madrid has been very compliant, trying to offer them whatever the hell they wanted, and they still kept saying, no, we're being hard asses. So then Real Madrid was like, all right, F it. This is not worth it. Like, it was clear that PSG just didn't want to make the deal with Real Madrid. And I don't think any club besides Real Madrid, besides a team in Saudi Arabia, could even offer what PSG wanted. And I mean, after all this, after giving him a $60 million loyalty bonus, which is hilarious, as I always say that, that's it. They're going to let Mbappe do what he wanted to do, which was ride out his last year of his contract. He's going to play. I mean, you have Kylian Mbappe. Why wouldn't you let him play? I mean, he didn't play the previous game because obviously he hasn't been training with the team, but now he's back training with the team. He's most likely going to play this season with the PSG. And then he's going to do exactly what he wanted to do from the beginning, which is do one last ride with PSG and then go off and seek Ballon d'Or glory. Which, thanks for PSG for wasting all of our times with this.
I say that every Champions League season.
Yeah.
Right.
Obviously, I'm more frustrated about it because obviously I want Mbappe to be in Real Madrid. I've been getting teased about Mbappe going to Real Madrid. And now I have another summer where I don't have Mbappe in Real Madrid. So, yes, I'm pissed.
I mean, hey, the heart wants what it wants, but sometimes waiting is the better remedy. I don't know. I think this is a good move, obviously, for Mbappe. This feels very much like the situation that used to happen a lot with Dortmund to Bayern, where Dortmund would be trying to sell players, but they're like, we're in the last year of our contract. We're just gonna wait, and we'll sign a free transfer in January with Bayern at the end of the season. So at the end of the season, they just transfer over to Bayern. Looking at Mario Götze as kind of the big prime example of that one.
Rafael Guerrero for recently.
Yeah. So and you'd always have Dortmund being like, no, that's not happening. Like, we're gonna try to sell you, blah blah blah. Never would happen. They're just like, fine, whatever, it's gonna happen. Let it happen. Like Lewandowski was another one that did it. So this kind of feels like the same thing, except for this. It doesn't really make sense for PSG not to sell him. I just sold him to Real Madrid as soon as they're like, oh, what do you want? I want half of what Saudi Arabia was going to give him. All right, give us that. Like, you already know Real Madrid have been like, okay, here you go. Like, happily. Here's that, our firstborn child, like our next, the 12th Champions League title. We'll just give it to you. It'll say to PSG from Real Madrid on it. Like, okay.
Yep, as they're working on their 15th. But obviously, PSG also losing another player, and that is Neymar, which Neymar also had got a lot of interest from MLS. Somehow MLS came into the discussion when it came to Mbappe and Neymar, which I find it very hilarious.
Apple money, my guy.
That Apple money is very enticing, apparently. Not that enticing, apparently. But Mbappe and Neymar, apparently MLS were prepared to set up some package deals to try to get Kylian Mbappe and Neymar to join an MLS team. Obviously, everybody was like, get him in New York, get him in LA, send him to Orlando, all that stuff. But obviously, it didn't work out because Neymar, which I believe there was a Saudi club that was very much interested in Neymar, and actually we're going to give Neymar what he wanted, which Neymar said that he would like to make a return to Barcelona. Obviously, Barcelona is allegedly broke. I say allegedly because I don't know how they're still making these transfers, but they are. So they were actually going to sign him Neymar, and apparently they were going to be willing to send him to Barcelona on a loan, which would alleviate a lot for Barcelona because I'm assuming that the Saudi club that's very well interested in Neymar would have been offering to pay his salary to play in Barcelona. So that's a win-win for Edward, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how he feels about Neymar. But
hey, whatever helps the team, man.
But I'm assuming that that's not happening because now Neymar is going to Al Hilal, which I believe is a transfer of over 160 million. But there's a lot of perks going into this one. That's why I don't think that the loan to Barcelona is going to happen, because it seems like he's getting a lot too much for him to be leaving. So, Kelcey, you wanna share?
Yeah. He's getting a private plane to use at his disposal, a huge house with staff, £80,000 bonus for every Al Hilal win. So US wise, that's like what, 75 million, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere close to that. More importantly, £500,000 for every post or story he puts on his social media that promotes Saudi Arabia. So yeah, 1 or 2 stories a month, you just made $1 million a month extra on top of everything.
Yep.
Contracts worth about between 300 and 400 million over 2 seasons. So absolutely insane, the amount of money for Neymar. We talked about this before. I'm just like, at that point in time, everybody has their price. You had me at about half of what you're just offering Neymar, and now you're going to offer that to I'll go play in Saudi Arabia for 2 years at this rate. I'll look like a fool for Neymar to score on. I don't care. But if you're going to offer me that kind of cheese, call me a rat, because I'm taking it.
So I'm prepared to be the American podcast for the Saudi League. If there's an offer, I mean, if all I have to do is just fluff up Cristiano Ronaldo and Neymar for a whole season, I think I can do it.
I'd sacrifice my soul for that.
So I mean, I think Edward can somehow say Cristiano Ronaldo is better than Messi, if the price is right. So I mean,
if the price is right.
So I mean, Saudi Arabia. I mean, you got 2 idiots. We know the American market.
And a third idiot.
To
use occasionally.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So that's, which I mean, for PSG, I don't. I mean, they still have the money. Obviously, they kind of got their plan in case that this wasn't going to work out for them. Which is obviously they went and got Gonzalo Ramos. They went after Asensio. I don't know who else is on the wing, but obviously you still have Mbappe for 1 more season. Ousmane Dembele. Mm-hmm. I don't know why I forgot about Ousmane Dembele, but so I mean they're clearly preparing themselves for when these guys leave. But I mean it's up in the air. I still imagine PSG will still be able to win the Ligue 1, also because of the fact that they have Luis Enrique as their coach. But it is definitely. It's going to be interesting at PSG this coming season.
Yeah, it's going to be weird. I mean, I don't know the last time we hadn't seen... They talked about the end of the Galacticos era. When was the last time we saw no Neymar, no Messi, no big name like that? Even Beckham, for some degree, it was there. So, I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, definitely weird. All right. Continuing on though, Kyle Walker, who has been linked all this summer with Bayern Munich, is actually staying put at Manchester City. I mean, he was given the captain's armband for Manchester City, so he has extended with Manchester City. I don't know for how much, but clearly he is staying put, being loyal to the club that he was transferred to from Tottenham.
To be fair, if you saved me from Tottenham in that toilet bowl, I would be forever loyal.
Fair point.
Especially at the time he was transferred away from Tottenham, was the perfect time to leave Tottenham.
Yeah. So continuing on, sticking with the Premier League, Chelsea, who somehow still have been very active in these coming transfer windows, are very much interested in one Dusan Vlahovic, which I mean, I did hear some rumors that they are actually not planning on finding a replacement for Nkunku, but I mean, you still need to find some strikers. Why not keep making? It's crazy how Chelsea is. Well, we'll talk. You're going to hear more about Chelsea here, but it's interesting how Chelsea is still managing to get players to join their club.
Yes. Like that's all there is to that one. Yes, it's I don't all the dysfunction, all the things that have been said about Chelsea recently and over the last couple of years. I mean, it's been crazy. And then now you're like, all right, I'm going to keep bringing in players. Like, wait, how? Who wants to come and play for you at this point in time? Like, I don't know. It kind of feels like Man United a few years ago. Yeah, well,
money.
But I mean, if they want money, there's all of the entire Saudi and Dubai leagues. Like,
that's very true.
Hey, that's where I'm going for my money.
But all right, continuing on. Former Chelsea player Ross Barkley is returning to the Premier League as he joins Luton Town, the newly promoted team in the Premier League.
Good for him. Never been the same after that major knee injury.
Yeah. Actually, kind of a smart move from Luton Town, I'm not going to lie. Get someone with English Premier League experience, especially because this team has 0 Premier League experience. So really cool. Yeah. Hopefully, like I said, Luton Town's going to be a fun team to keep an eye on this season, just because this is literally their first time ever in the Premier League. And you're just going to hear more. Last time Luton Town plays this team off, the year was super long time ago. So it's just going to be
longer than most of us have been alive.
Yep. In big news, another new transfer rumor that we've been hearing since the beginning of this transfer period has been Harry Kane and Bayern Munich. Well, after just long constant rising of the prices, pushing of the goalposts, Tottenham finally broke and are giving away their only longtime player. Almost broke the English Premier League career goal scoring record, but he is now leaving Tottenham finally and going to Bayern Munich in hopes of finally winning a trophy. Might have to wait a little longer on that.
I stand by my previous statement about Tottenham. Whoever saved somebody from Tottenham, you have become their Lord and Savior. You will be with you for the eternity of his legs movements. No, Harry Kane. I think this is a good move for Harry, honestly. The Bayern needed a central striker. Obviously, last year with the rotating striker situation, that wasn't great. I think this is a situation where he can slide right in, and obviously maybe not immediately, but I do think within the next, 3 to 6 weeks, get him actually fully integrated. Harry Kane might be approaching some of the Lewandowski records that you saw with Bayern. I know you say maybe they'll have to wait on a trophy, but he's at least going to win a league trophy this year. I don't think there's any question about that.
Yeah. Well, we'll definitely
spoiler alert.
We'll definitely share our thoughts on that when we get to our preview of the Bundesliga. But continuing on, Frank Kelcey of Barcelona is leaving Barcelona and joining Al Ali. I'm sure Edward is in deep depression now that Barcelona let go of Frank Kelcey.
Meh. Meh.
I feel like he was never the same after leaving AC Milan, to be honest.
Yeah,
it wasn't even a good AC Milan period. So, I mean, it was a bright point of a really bad AC Milan team.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, hey, good for him. Go get that. Yeah, we just talked about it. Go get that Saudi money right while you can.
Yeah. So this is an American player. Doesn't get a lot of calls because he's been playing in these really weird European leagues. But I think he was part of that random call-ups back in 2020. I think he was playing against Bosnia. And
January Bosnia call-ups.
Yeah, it was that was last time he played with the U.S. men's national team. But Emmanuel Sabi, he is now joining the newly promoted French team, Le Havre.
So good for him.
He's actually a player that I used a lot in FIFA and usually performs very well for me. So I was like, hey, I know who that guy is. So
yeah, it's tough with him. He's one of those guys. Because he's always been really in those mid-league leagues. So you talk about, he's been playing mostly in Denmark.
Yeah.
Over the last couple of years. I don't know. You kind of look at that and you're like, all right, well, what can he do? We'll see. And actually, the last season he played fully in the pros was 2021. So very interesting to see there. I don't know how he managed to get that trial and that signature for Le Havre, but good for him.
Yep. So he is now there. Former Manchester United player Eric Bailly is joining Benfica. Obviously Manchester United trying to trim some fat there. So they're sending Eric Bailly over to Turkey. But also joining him in Turkey is our beloved legend Fred, who is going to Fenerbahce.
Not the one guy I could count on to disappoint every Man United fan out there and make me happy.
Don't worry, you still got McTominay.
That's fair. Good point. I have hope.
PSG is interested in Eintracht Frankfurt player Kolo Muani. Honestly, that guy definitely needs. I don't know about PSG being that move for him.
Yeah,
but he definitely. I mean, Frankfurt is one of those teams like, will they, won't they finally like break that ceiling? But yeah,
no, they won't. They've done this like 17,000 times, and they just end up selling everybody before they get it. Mm-hmm. So no, just go ahead and get out while you can.
Yeah, I agree. Moises Caicedo, after battles between Liverpool and Chelsea, it has been decided he chose Chelsea.
Boo.
Yeah,
that's all I got for that.
A lot of money was spent.
Like, how does Chelsea keep getting these guys? I don't get it.
Yeah, it's been weird. Kepa is joining Real Madrid on loan. He is essentially going to be, I don't know. I want to say it's going to be a goalkeeping battle between him and Lunin, but I think Kepa still edges out over Lunin. So I think Kepa is going to come in this season, basically be the starting goalkeeper, while obviously Thibaut Courtois recovers from his injury. I mean, Kepa is actually a very well qualified goalkeeper. Obviously he's been a meme in quite some time, but I think he still can be a solid goalkeeper. And I mean, with Real Madrid's backline, it's not. I'm not saying he's coming into an easy situation. There's a lot of expectations coming into being a Real Madrid player, but I mean, if there's anybody that's available in the market besides, I don't know, David De Gea, who would be qualified to be a solid goalkeeper in La Liga, I think Kepa is plenty qualified for it.
Until his manager goes to sub him off for penalties and he yells at his manager and refuses to come off.
I hope he doesn't, because we're talking about Carlo Ancelotti and not.
I hope he does.
Was that Roberto Martinez?
I think, no. This guy after Roberto Martinez. He was a joke of a coach, anyways.
It's the guy that smoked, right?
Yeah, I think so. He was bad.
Yeah,
he was a bad manager. Like he didn't deserve to be managing at Chelsea at the time.
Yeah, no, okay. I mean, yeah, that's definitely no Ancelotti. Ancelotti, you gotta respect Ancelotti. I don't care who.
Ancelotti tells you something, I say yes, sir. How high?
Yeah, exactly. Manchester United are actually interested in boosting that defense because I keep seeing, I don't know, will they, won't they? But apparently West Ham United wants Harry Maguire. And also McTominay, which I mean it's great that somebody wants these two, but yeah, Manchester United, I'm guessing in hopes of getting rid of Harry Maguire, are looking to bring in Ben Pavard from Bayern Munich, which I honestly think they both kind of need each other. Ben Pavard needs to be playing somewhere, and Manchester United need anybody that's not named Harry Maguire. So I think that this is like one of those win-wins for both sides, especially as someone that, like me, I like Benjamin Pavard. I mean, yeah, it's Manchester United, but Bayern Munich he just hasn't, like, it's funny enough, he should have just stayed in Cologne. Like,
yeah, I mean, like, or stayed in Italy when he was there. I mean, look, Pavard is one of those weird, interesting cases where if he just stayed out wide as a wide defender, I don't think there's an issue getting him in playing, like getting him somewhere. I don't like him as a central defender as much. Yeah. I really don't like him as a central defender, and especially going to Man United. Why? Like, there's already 3 central defenders there, not including Harry Maguire. Like, sending Harry Maguire out, okay, now you're down to 3, but you're going to add one with Pavard. Will he slide outside for United? If he does that, then that's a different conversation. But I mean, if he stays central as a defender, I don't know. And he has the skills with the ball at his feet to be able to play a CDM holding role. Like, I don't know. There's so many aspects with Pavard. I think he would be a good match for United in all seriousness. I think
the fact that he can play multiple positions could benefit Manchester United. Like, especially if if you, especially when you're, because I mean, with the English Premier League, obviously you have Leagues Cup, FA Cup, Champions League for Manchester United this season. Like, you're not going to be able to have your same starting lineup every single week. So I mean, yeah, I think with his versatility, it is something that could definitely help Ten Hag. And I mean, obviously Ten Hag with a predecessor of Pep Guardiola, he likes his options, and he likes guys that are very versatile that can play in multiple positions. So I definitely would say that Ben Pavard would be a huge boost for Manchester United. I don't know what Howard thinks about that.
Well, I mean, truthfully speaking, Hector already knows how I feel about Maguire. That's basically it. Like,
essentially,
honestly,
anything is better than Maguire.
I'm still waiting for them to be like, "Hey, Maguire, sorry, we're gonna have to cut you and sell you."
West Ham wants him.
Apparently, Manchester United wants him more because he's still there.
I mean, that's fair point.
I'm still waiting on them to be like, you know what? Go for it, West Ham. Welcome. We're gonna go ahead and sell him to you. Give us a good amount of money at least. Yeah, we'll go for it. We'll go for it. But they're like, nah, man. He's our best striker. I mean, defender.
I mean,
scoring the goals and shit. Yeah, fuck. Onana was fucking. Hector pointed out too, but Onana was going crazy. He was going fucking yelling at him and shit. I was like, hey, good shit. I was like, he needed that shit. I was like, fuck.
Harry Maguire might be the greatest defender through 60 minutes.
So Ben Pavard, Edward.
Yeah, Ben Pavard takes over is what we're hearing, Hector or Edward.
Yes.
Okay,
exactly.
I mean, he is a World Cup winner. So.
But no, Harry might be the best defender for like all of 60 minutes, and then after the 60-minute mark, it's like, all right, whatever can go wrong will go wrong, boys. Get ready.
No. It's not even. No. Let me tell you something. With Harry Maguire, you're right. 60 minutes. The thing is, you don't know if the first 30 minutes are going to be the fuck up, or it's going to be the last. 30
you just don't know which 30 minutes it's going to be.
There's going to be 60 minutes somewhere in there that he's going to be great, and then 30 minutes of just awfulness from him.
It could be a 30-minute one half being great and 30 minutes the other one, and all of a sudden, like the last 15, he's going to be like, just fucked up and shit. Like maybe the first 15 he'll say, I have no idea what's going on, but oh my God. I don't know why they're so, I could understand why the player is faithful to the club, but I don't understand why the club is being so faithful to the player when the player hasn't really brought it. Because, I mean, like, shit.
I don't know.
He's also English, and, the EPL has the English player rule. Yep. But continuing on. Oh,
damn, bro! Like they could just get somebody from the fucking academy and shit. Be like, look, here's an English kid right here. We're gonna use him.
Fair point. Bournemouth is prepared to activate Tyler Adams' release clause. If you guys remember, Chelsea was actually going to try to get Tyler Adams. Something happened during the physical, where the deal ended up not happening, which, if you're an American fan, you have a huge feud because it was basically, obviously we don't want to have Vietnam flashbacks of what happened with Christian Pulisic. But I mean, Bournemouth, it's a lower table team. It's not, he won't be in the championship. So, I mean, he gets the opportunity to stay in the Premier League. And I think no one's against that idea, at least, especially a lot of people that view Tyler Adams very highly. Obviously, his only real issue is just his injuries. But, when he's healthy, he's obviously a clear captain for the U.S. men's national team. So, I mean, if this Bournemouth transfer happens, I mean, I'm all for it because, one, like I said, he's back in the Premier League. He's not going to be in the championship.
Yes. This is crucial if Tyler Adams wants to get back into the USA squad and get back to that captain team position. Because look, we saw a lot of great players, not great, I shouldn't say great, but a lot of good players for the U.S. men's national team in these last couple call-ups that could play that position of Tyler Adams, and you actually get a solid back four. So it's something with Tyler Adams, obviously, with under Greg, he likes to play that outside wing back that comes into an offensive player on the offensive side and then slides back to, I don't know, whatever. Anyways, I think if you get Tyler Adams, you need to be playing in Premier League ball. I don't think there's any question. Bournemouth is perfect. I don't think you need to make that Chelsea move. Even like maybe not yet. Like if Chelsea comes calling next year after you have a good year and you're healthy all year, absolutely take that. But right now, this is a good fit. Absolutely perfect fit for them. And hey, if you can keep Bournemouth up, congratulations. You're gonna probably be on the move again next year.
Yeah. All right. Back in Chelsea, they have stolen another player from Liverpool, and that is Romeo Lavia from Southampton.
How dare our feeder club? How dare our feeder club give another player to the other team?
Yeah.
Sorry.
What was your reaction?
My reaction was I wanted to hear Kelcey, because he literally, as soon as you said that, he took that deep ass sigh. He was, and I was
you got McAllister. You got
but the disrespect from our feeder club. How dare they? They will only be getting one transfer next year from us. They will have to figure out someone else to pay their stupid fees for all their players. I'm just kidding. Please, Liverpool, keep taking from Southampton. It's worked in the past. It'll keep working. Just keep doing it.
All right. And to close out with transfers, Bayern Munich is seeking David De Gea. Obviously, Manuel Neuer still out with injury. Jan Sommer is no longer with Bayern Munich. So, they were trying to get Kepa, which, I still wasn't. David De Gea is free, sort of.
Yeah.
But, all you have to do is pay his salary, and that's it. I honestly, I'm nothing against Kepa. I'm happy that Kepa's with Real Madrid. I would have much preferred getting David De Gea. But I think in all senses, obviously, once Thibaut Courtois gets healthy, then you're in that awkward moment where it's like, Thibaut, or do we get David? And then Lunen's just standing there. So, with Kepa, it makes more sense for Real Madrid to get Kepa because obviously he's not here for a long time. He's only here for one season, and then he's back at Chelsea. Whereas, David De Gea, if you're gonna get him, he should be a starting goalkeeper, which is kind of hard to say, especially when you have another world-class goalkeeper in Courtois. But for Bayern Munich, this could really solve a lot of things for them. Is getting David De Gea, because we saw what happened. We saw what happened in that Super Cup, for sure. But yeah, Bayern Munich is going to try their best to get David. At this point, they need a goalkeeper. You've been hearing nothing but rumors about them going after goalkeepers, and they have yet to have accomplished it, which is crazy to think because this is Bayern Munich.
I'm available, Bayern. You can come after me. I'm half the price of David De Gea, and I have no problem giving the reins back to Manuel Neuer when it comes time. No, I think that this is honestly one with De Gea. You're just kind of like, all right, well, just if De Gea could accept the fact that he is 34, 35 right now, I believe. He's at that stage of his career where, okay, you won 2 good years, those Petr Cech years at Arsenal type of years. Just give it what you can until Manuel Neuer comes back. It's okay. It's acceptable. All the greats do it. Just accept that. If he can do that, then I think Bayern, it's a good pickup for him. But yeah, it is questionable why David De Gea keeps sitting out there as a free transfer, and you're just like, sometime soon, guys. Just somebody pay the man salary, and he'll be there.
Yeah, exactly. Anything to add about David De Gea before we wrap this segment off, Edward?
De Gea's a good goalkeeper. Shit. Honestly, I feel like this is basically telling Manuel Neuer, hey man, you could take the backseat for a while. He's got this.
Yeah.
Because it's, for one, he's a little bit younger. He's seasoned. He's a world-class goalkeeper. And so, it's kind of like maybe in the woodworks, they're probably renegotiating Manuel Neuer's contract, and they're trying to put him as instead of being like the number one goalkeeper, they'll be like, you know what, we'll use you maybe for the Polka Cup, or maybe we'll use you here and there in the matches, but the main guy's going to be De Gea, but we'll still give you this amount of money. It's not going to be as much, but, we're trying to get you ready for your retirement kind of shit. You know what I mean?
It is crazy to think that we are talking about that Manuel Neuer is kind of near the tail end of his career.
Both of them, honestly, De Gea and Neuer.
Bro, But that's the thing, though. De Gea is still younger
But
than Neuer.
Neuer's
Like,
been
what?
has injuries, and Neuer has been coming on a lot more recently. David De Gea, I mean, he's still playing at a top level. Which I mean, I mean, he definitely wasn't the reason why Manchester United had struggles. It was definitely one Harry Maguire that was. It was the wrong Harry. It was the wrong Harry that Manchester United had, which is funny because they were also linked to Harry Kane.
I mean, no, but I'm saying like we probably should have had Harry Potter. He would have scored goals with his fucking stick.
I mean, he was known for catching snitches, but not those snitches. But
snitches get stitches. What? Sorry, all right, I'm done.
He's hung out with too many sharp people now. You guys wouldn't get that if you're not from Houston. But yeah, so that is transfers. So we're gonna go ahead and segue over to the Women's World Cup final preview with Stuart Kavanagh. So we'll go right into that right now. All right, we're back. Here we are, the FIFA Women's World Cup final. We're finally here. It's gonna be this weekend. Really can't wait. I'm actually gonna try my best to wake up at 5 a.m. and watch this one. I keep saying I'm gonna do it, and then I wake up and I'm like, oh shit, it's 8 o'clock. So my bad. But I bet it's the World Cup final. But obviously, we're talking about the Women's World Cup final. World Cup. We've been bringing this person every single time we're talking about Women's World Cup. So why wouldn't we bring him in for the final? Unless I wanted to be a dick. But that's of course great friend of the show, Stuart Kavanagh. I mean, a man that's wearing multiple hats of what he's been doing, but has been doing a lot of writing. Edge of the Crowd is one of the websites that you do stuff with. Has a Women's World Cup, an Australian World Cup podcast that's covering the women's game. But of course, let me just talk. Let our favorite Australian talk, and that is of course Mr. Stuart Kavanagh.
G'day, Hector. How are you, mate?
Great.
Yeah, the Women's World Cup. We were just talking off mic before. It's been an interesting week for me. It started off, at dizzying heights, and pretty freshly. It's a pretty bad low at the moment, of course, with the Matildas getting knocked out last night by the bloody English. It was so. I guess where do you want to start things, Ben?
So before we get going with our talk for the Women's World Cup, it is brought to you by Canadips. Canadips is a great tasting, superior alternative to traditional dip, using CBD in a way that is radical, enjoyable, and effective. It comes in 5 core flavors, and that is wintergreen, mint, citrus, mango, and American spice, all crafted and manufactured in Humboldt County, California, the heart of the cannabis industry. I'm going to tell you guys from personal experience, man, I used to dip back when I was in the Marine Corps. It is a disgusting habit. It's not appealing. By all means, it's not. And, especially if it's your first time, you're going to puke. You're going to puke 9 times out of 100. Okay, that's a terrible ratio. 10 times out of 10, you're going to puke. It's early. It's early for me. But not as early as for Stuart right now. But like I said, it is a disgusting habit. If you do dip too much at one point, you got to start replacing that skin from your mouth. So it is honestly just a terrible, terrible addiction, and you probably should move on from it. But Canadips is so much different because it is very natural, and it absorbs rapidly, and it delivers CBD through the mouth that no one else has, so you can actually enjoy it. Check out CanadipsCBD.com. Use the code BELLYUP20. Save yourself 20% off your purchase. Thank you again to Canadips for being the presenting partner of this discussion for the Women's World Cup. But before we talk about the Women's World Cup itself, obviously this is the newly expanded Women's World Cup. 32 teams. How do you feel the difference was from this format to the previous Women's World Cups?
I think the evidence is in the results, right? I think the gap has definitely closed, and I think expanding the Women's World Cup has definitely helped that. It's caused FAs in some cases, not in all cases, but caused FAs to invest more. There's more of a prize at the end of the tournament, I suppose. If you can get to the finals, if you can knock off a big team, get to the round of 16, that purse, that prize money increases more. So, there's to varying effects, there's been good effects on the so-called smaller nations. It's definitely been entertaining. The one word that seems to be synonymous with this World Cup is unpredictable. And it's just been a lot of fun to watch. I think the Men's World Cup has probably gone the wrong way with putting more teams in the next Men's World Cup. So I hope the Women's World Cup sticks at this sweet spot of 32 teams. It's just been fantastic to watch.
No, yeah, I honestly think that the competition has gotten significantly better, and I think that's the great part of having more teams into it. Like, there's going to be more clear mismatches. The strategy does get put a little bit more meticulous when you have more different play styles and like you said, better investment from the FAs to come into to better this product. I always go back to when Marta had her farewell press conference, because obviously she announced her retirement from the international game, and I believe she will be retiring at the end of the season with Orlando as well. But just her whole thing about where it was when she started playing, where there was no coverage. I'm not entirely sure if she mentioned the prize money, but obviously there was just little to no coverage of the game. No one really knew the names, all that stuff. She's talked about it, but obviously now where it is now, obviously now you're having these full coverages, Fox for America, props to Lexi Lawless, Melissa Ortiz, and everybody else. I'm just drawing blanks on names right now, but just great coverage throughout the tournament for this. And I think the game has definitely evolved for the women's side tremendously, and it's great. I think, and because of that, now you have new names arising now. I love that picture. We've all seen the picture, the Master Splinter with the Ninja Turtles, which everyone likes to now put like an OG soccer player with a bunch of promising players. But like the fact that they did it for Marta, like where now she's walking out and it's like Ari Borges and all the other new exciting Brazilian talent that has come in, like she's leaving the game better than how she found it, and I think that's like probably an amazing way to describe how the expanded Women's World Cup is now. It's like from where it started to now where it is in such a better place. And I think it's going to be exciting for what the future of the Women's World Cup is going to be for years to come.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with everything you said there. I guess the best way I can put it is in the United States, you guys have a pretty good setup for women's football. They're treated like stars. They're paid equitably now. But they're household names, man. You know what I mean? And the same thing has happened to not just the 11 that started the majority of the Matildas games, but the entire squad is their household names over here now. I'm sure it's the same in New Zealand. And I guess a testament to the expanded World Cup. I know we're jumping forwards a little bit here, but Spain has qualified for the final, right? Spain, a powerhouse in the men's game, not so much in the women's game. It's only the third time they've qualified for a World Cup, and before this World Cup they'd never won a knockout fixture, and now they're in a final. So there's so much upside. I don't really see any downside. Even the blowout results, they were sort of kept to a minimum in this tournament. There was no 13-0 or anything ridiculous like that. Most teams were competitive. I've watched a lot of football, Hector, much like yourself, I'm sure. But particularly during this World Cup, I've watched a lot of football. And, I haven't watched one team where I thought, geez, they probably shouldn't be playing at this tournament. Everyone can hang and everyone can, really emphasize their strengths and have good periods on the ball and look threatening and stuff. And it's fantastic. I think women's football, in Australia, if we can take the ball and sort of run with it, that'd be fantastic. And if we could do that globally, I think women's football is in a fantastic place right now.
Yeah, I think as you're talking about Spain, a team that, like, honestly, I didn't know much about until I watched the Euros. The Euros where I really got very familiar with Spain, and I was like, God, man, this team's good.
Absolutely.
And so, me and Edward, we were both like, man, look at Spain. And I think amazing turnaround. And I believe there was some issues going on with their federation. Kind of like there's some controversy going on there as well right now. But I mean, way to stick it to them, honestly. But yeah, here we are now, the knockout rounds. But before we talk about the knockout rounds, I mean, obviously we got to talk about the U.S. women's national team. Just falling apart in a game that honestly, statistically, they did dominate.
Yeah, they did.
They did dominate the game.
Yeah.
But I think Sweden, the same things I say about the men's national team, I can say exactly the same thing about the women's team. They're just well structured, well organized. Can definitely beat you defensively. Also can take over on the attack as well. But I think that the U.S. kind of one of their issues for their honestly demise that was going to happen was they came in way too cocky into this thing. They thought that they were going to win this just straight out. I mean, literally their whole promotion for the Women's World Cup was, we're here to win this thing. Who's going to beat us? And it's just like they came in too cocky. Their group stage was very lackluster. Even their 3-0 victory against Vietnam was not even a very confident 3-0 victory. Had to escape with a goal. Had to get a goal to just get a tie against the Netherlands. And couldn't even get a goal against Portugal. And so, yeah, the U.S. women's national team, I feel like they underperformed drastically. And I think you can also say it's a testament to the fact that the tournament's gotten better. Yeah, they were in a really hard group. They had the Netherlands and the Portuguese to play against. And I think that the competition's gotten better, which is great things to hear. Like, it's not going to be, there's parity, there's competition. Like, it's not always going to be the same team winning it year after year after year. It is now. No, this is literally anybody's game. Also, the women's national team. I don't know if Greg Berhalter started coaching them or something, but definitely looked like Berhalter ball a little bit to me. But yeah, the confidence wasn't there. Some people were saying that maybe if a Mallory Pugh was available, maybe that team looks a little bit differently. But I think at the end of the day, you can't make the excuse. At the end, you still have to go out and perform, and that's the one thing that the women's national team didn't do. Did they get criticized plenty of times? I mean, Carly Lloyd, hit it on the head. Like, you shouldn't be and be proud of the small victories, but get back to work. And I think at the end of it all, they didn't do that part. They didn't go back to work. They didn't go back to the drawing board. They're just like, hey, we're USA. This is our tournament. And you went up against a really tough opponent in Sweden, and you had plenty of opportunities to score goals, but you just couldn't finish it at the end. And that's why you got out in the round of 16.
Yeah, the United States, I completely agree with you. They drastically underperformed at this World Cup. They were disappointing. A couple of points to things that you said, though. The United States just thinking they're going to win the tournament. I mean, that's been a characteristic of the women's national team since the inception of the World Cup. And, it's a big reason why people either love them or hate them. So, they come to this tournament with the same attitude, and unfortunately it didn't work out for them. They were very poor in the group stage. I was very surprised, even in that first game, when they, sounds stupid to say, but they only won 3-0 against Vietnam. That's when my radar sort of flicked up and thought, well, maybe there's something not right here. But the way they went out in the round of 16 now, we've both confirmed that they dominated that game. They were the better team across the 2 hours. Sometimes, and I go back to what I said just before, you and I have watched a lot of football, Hector. Sometimes you just need a little bit of luck, and they just didn't have the luck on their side. And the penalty shootout, 1 millimeter. I know millimeters are difficult for Americans to get their head around, but 1 millimeter.
How dare you use the metric system to me?
It was really close. It was really fine margins, and I do agree with you. I think it speaks to the strength of the competition. People have got better. They did get a very difficult draw. I mean, Sweden are no slouches. They're number 3 in the world. I think maybe the issue with the United States women's national team at this tournament was they had a lot of super experienced players and they had a lot of young players, but they didn't have a lot of players to sort of bridge that gap. And I think in 4 years' time, the squad will be stronger for that because these young players will be 4 years older. Obviously, they'll have this experience of having a poor World Cup, and the next generation that's coming through that's going to get selected. I think they'll be stronger. But I think that's probably, if we go back to the selection of the squad, they had their super experienced, legendary players that are known, all over the world. And then you've got the younger players that were coming through first World Cup, maybe even second World Cup, that, just had it was too big of a bridge to gap. And I think that's probably the essence of the United States surprise elimination from the Women's World Cup at the round of 16.
No, yeah, it's honestly, that's what it is. But you know what? That's it for the women's national team. They got eliminated, so we should just move on from them, just like they got eliminated. Because obviously this isn't about them. This is now about the two that have risen from the cream of the crop, and that is, of course, Spain and England. So before we talk about England, because there's a lot to talk about with England for you, let's go look at Spain. Like I said, kind of what Stuart was talking about. Spain really caught the eyes of me and Edward. Edward, you might bonk him for a little bit, but I'm not entirely sure. He was actually really impressed by their play as well. But also Edward is Edward. But I think also with me, when I saw Spain in the Euro, I was like, wow, this team's really good. And you kind of sometimes you need a little luck to win these knockout matches, and for them in their elimination, when the game they got eliminated in, they just didn't have the luck on their side for that game in the Euro. But they clearly learned from it and they applied into this World Cup. Pretty solid performance. Even as coming in as a runner-up, they still came in and they took on their competition head on. They beat Switzerland. They beat the Dutch. That was honestly a really good game, competitively. And then if you're like a pure technical fan of the game, like just you like watch solid play of the ball, Sweden and Spain was probably the game for you. And I mean, big challenge for them. Obviously, you're talking about the third ranked country in all of women's football, and Spain goes in and wins the game, and they get their ticket to the final. And like you said, it was their third World Cup appearance.
Yeah, it was one of those games where it was a real war of attrition for 75, 80 minutes. Spain got the breakthrough. Sweden came back and equalised. And my housemate, who's actually a co-host on the Australian World Cup podcast, he sort of adopted Sweden as his second team. And he was up and about in the living room when Sweden equalised, and I thought, oh, here we go, we're going extra time again. But then the goal, I just got to find the girl's name. I can't remember. Olga Carmona scored a goal, only a second goal in her career. Both of them scored at this tournament in her international career, I should add. And it was a thing of beauty. She was on the left-hand side, just outside the 18-yard box, and she just had a pop and beat the Swedish goalkeeper, who has been an absolute brick wall at this competition. And it was just a fascinating game. So it was a war of attrition for 75, 80 minutes. And then the last 10, 15, maybe even 20, I can't remember how much added time there was in this one, was just hectic. It was incredible to watch and definitely had you on the edge of your seats. I think Spain are a really, really strong team, and I think the tactical battle against England is going to be fascinating coming up this Saturday, Sunday, Friday for you guys.
Saturday. It'll be Saturday.
Saturday for you guys.
Oh, Sunday, never mind. Sunday. I'm looking at Sunday. It now. Yeah, Sunday for us.
I'll tell you, this podcasting gig is difficult when you're on the other side of the world from each other, isn't it, Hector?
Oh, man, you got to say. But obviously, we're going to the other side, and we're going to look at England, a team that actually came in with a lot of question marks, especially the way they were performing in their friendlies. And obviously, there was some concerns from Stuart. They win their group, and then they go into they go in and beat Nigeria in penalties. There was a very controversial red card that happened there with James, a player that you highlighted last time we talked.
I gave her the kiss of death.
But obviously, very competitive game. Nigeria, props to them. Just what a performance from them. but obviously they go to penalties, and at that point it's anybody's game, and England, goes ahead and wins it in penalties. Then they go up against Colombia. Colombia I don't know about you, but I felt like they were my darlings for this tournament. They won me over, just banger and bangers of goals, but just a great story all around with Colombia. But I feel like I've seen England and Colombia face off against each other, not just in the women's game, but also in the men's World Cup. It's been a matchup.
Yeah.
It always seems to happen. I don't know why, but it happens. Colombia and England, but England continues to do their thing. Also, you got to mention England, just a very solid team all around. As well.
Superstars all over the pitch for England. They're just a world-class team. If I could just jump in and say about Colombia, there's always one team at a World Cup that sort of comes from nowhere and has a star player. I think Colombia even did it with maybe the 2010 World Cup in South Africa with James Rodriguez. Yeah. He like his club career probably hasn't done what he wanted it to, but at that World Cup he was the man. And it's a little bit similar with Linda Caicedo as well. Colombia definitely surprise packets at this tournament. I love watching them play. I thought they maybe crossed the line once or twice with their physicality, but that was just part of how they were playing the game. Not just the England game, but the entire tournament. And they've got some star players there, and they're definitely one to watch. That's for sure.
Yep, and now we get to the semifinal, which I'm sure this is why he was kind of stalling. As they go up against Australia, they beat them 3-1. Yeah, that happened in front of us in their home crowd in Australia. Jay,
it was rough, man.
I bet, and I'll let you take over at this point.
Yeah, listen, it was very evident from kickoff that this was a game that England was pretty keen to win. I mean, you don't need any more motivation when you get to a World Cup semi-final, but we knocked them off and broke their 30-game winning streak back in April, I think, and it seemed pretty clear that they were pretty hungry for revenge. They bossed the ball. They were the better team. They got an early goal through Ella Toon. It was a beautiful shot. Sucked the life out of the stadium and all the, the watch parties and every pub and every bar in Australia. You sort of felt that energy come, like disappear, I suppose you'd say. Then Sam Kerr and probably scored goal of the tournament to equalise. It was, I'm using this phrase too much, but it was a thing of beauty. I was actually annoyed when I seen that she took the shot because I think it was Caitlin Ford was running through and she was free. I thought that's an easy goal for her. But Sam Kerr took the shot from about 30 yards out and just smashed it past Mary Earps. And we were up and about again for a little while, but then, just a couple of defensive mistakes, a beautiful no-look pass from Lauren Hemp for the third goal. I was talking with some mates at the end of the game, and prior to the game, all the talk was about Sam Kerr, whether she was going to play or not, and then she did get named, and everybody was buzzing about that. But sort of in the background, one of our central defenders, Alana Kennedy, didn't make the game. A little bit strange, actually. She's listed as having an illness, did not even go to the stadium. And I think that ended up being a decisive factor for us because for the first time in the entire tournament, even when we lost to Nigeria 3-1, our defense didn't look as shaky. And, when you go in with a shaky defense against a team like England, European champions, some of the best players in the world on their team, you're always going to lose. And despite the loss, still a lot to be proud of from the Matildas. I thought they were fantastic. What they've done for the game here in Australia, not just the women's game, but the men's game, and just football in general here in Australia is phenomenal. And hopefully we can build on that. And we've still got one game to go. We've got a third place playoff against Sweden, and probably going to be the most well attended third place playoff in the history of the World Cup, I would say. So looking forward to that one. Obviously disappointing not to be in the final, but definitely sets up a tasty matchup between England and Spain.
Yeah, and I mean, we just got to go right into it. Spain, like I said, for me, definitely what's wowed me about Spain has definitely been their technical ability. And that's just my opinion on that about Spain. But for England, like you said, just loads and loads of names all throughout that team. But I mean, for you, England, for you, Stuart, what does each team have to like that would have them give themselves the edge against each other?
I think you hit the nail on the head with Spain's technical ability. I think England has the pedigree in terms of personnel, though. I think they've got players on the bench that would likely start for 27, 28 of the other nations at the World Cup. I think Jennifer Hermoso, she probably deserves to win a World Cup. She's just been a superstar in the club game, and now she gets to sort of do her thing on the international stage. That would be crazy. Now, I might mess this name up, Hector. I might need your help with this one. Salma Paluelo, the 18-year-old that scored the opening goal for Spain in the semi-final. She also scored in the quarterfinal. She's just an excitement machine, and I think I'm kind of torn because Australia sucked in men's soccer for most of my life. So I always went for England because that was the league that I followed and stuff, So I've got a foot in the England camp, but I'm dirty on them because they knocked the Matildas out in the semi-finals. And I really like this Spain team. We talked about the United States not having those bridging players, that are 27, 28 years old, just in the peak of their career. I think Spain has a perfectly blended squad and that, superior technical ability. It's going to be a hell of a match. Are you asking me for a prediction, Hector?
Yeah, I mean, before we get to those predictions, man, right now for win probability, it actually is 37% towards Spain. Right now, the other 30, and then 33% England. The other 30% is going towards extra time, which it's an interesting one to go to. But for me, I think I'm just gonna obviously being someone that has heritage towards Spain. Now I don't know how close I am. I mean, I'm pretty white, so I'm assuming that I got more Spanish in me than anything else from El Salvador. But like I said, when I watched Spain from the Euros, and I mean England as well. I mean, when I saw them in the Euros and they were able to win it, I believe Gary Neville is still, or no, Phil Neville.
Phil Neville, yeah.
Phil Neville.
He was the. No, I think Sarah Weigman was their coach when they won the Euros, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. I think Phil Neville got the boot. Sorry to interrupt you here, though. Sarah Weigman is just incredible. She's just a serial winner. She's a specialist at tournament football. This is her fourth major tournament in the dugout at a final, whether it be a Euros or a World Cup. I think she's going to be a massive X factor for England too. Sorry to interrupt, mate. I just want to get that in there.
Yeah, make sure you correct me on that one. No, but yeah, I think what England has, but also a lot of build up from this. I mean, you won the Euro, and then there's at least a spotlight for you in this tournament because of that. You do make it to the Euro. You won the whole thing in the Euro. You bring faith back in England. Can't say that so much for the men's team, but the women's team, like I said, they did really well in the Euro. A lot of people wondering, so how does England respond after doing that in the World Cup, the newly expanded World Cup? And yeah, they made it right back into the final for this one as well. And it's funny though, because I mean, kind of reminds me of Spain, the men's team, the men's Spanish team. They won the Euro, then win the World Cup. Maybe they'll win they'll win the next Euro. But yeah, like. That's also a really important feature is a team that can handle the pressure of going deep in these tournaments. I mean, the last World Cup, the England's women's team had a pretty good run until they met USA. But I think that experience is definitely going to be a benefactor for them, especially against Spain. This is still new. This is still fairly new to them. They do have experience I mean, most of them are from that very dominant Barcelona team. But that experience could be helpful. But I mean, if I want a team that I know is going to be able to handle the job, I know that Lucy Bronze, I know Rachel Daly has a special place in my heart because she played for the Houston Dash. But but like names like that, like they're going to come in and they know what to do. And as much as I love Spain's technical ability, man, I always am going to go towards someone that just has the experience for me. So I guess in a long sense, I'm going with England to win the World Cup.
Yeah, I think I sort of echo your sentiments about being able to handle the pressure, like you mentioned, and it must have been tough for you to say, mate. A lot of those Spain players do play for that dominant Barcelona side, but even the Champions League in club football, international football, particularly World Cups, is another step up in terms of pressure. I just wanted to touch on Rachel Daly, right? This is how good the England team is. She is the leading goal scorer in the WSL for Aston Villa last season. She's playing left back for this England team and still playing phenomenal football. Great player. This is all to say, I completely agree with you. Not only for all the reasons that you listed, but it does seem like just a natural progression. They've made 3 semi-finals in a row now. This is the first one that they've won. They've got the experience of winning a major tournament just last year with the Euros. I think that sort of holds them in good stead. I don't think they'll blow Spain out of the water or anything like that. I think it'll be a close game. And to be fair, a Spain win wouldn't shock me. But I think this is England's World Cup to lose.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's written in the sand. That's what they want. So probably in that red sand over there in Australia as well. So
I'll tell you what, they don't have many fans over here at the moment. They're public enemy number 1, I think. I'm going to tell you,
I believe that.
there's a lot of talk in the build up to this. In the cricket, we had the Ashes and we won the Ashes against the Poms. In the Netball World Cup, we beat the Poms in the final of that. And we thought, this is it. This is the hat trick. It's going to happen. But unfortunately, the English got their revenge against us in the worst possible way. So there you go. Not a lot of England fans, at least not today, at least not last night. Maybe if we could get a bit of a gap in the next few days, maybe people will come around on the English winning the World Cup. But yeah.
All right. Good to know for that one though. But all right, so me and Stuart are obviously thinking that England's going to go ahead and win this thing. Go ahead and check out the final. If you're in the U.S., it's going to be on Sunday. If you're in the central area like I am, it's going to probably be at 5 a.m. So I will build up the strength to wake my ass up at like 4:30. Knock out my morning routine, so that way I'm not missing the World Cup. But it is going to be a really good final. I can't wait for it. Spain and England. Doesn't matter who's playing it, whether it's the men's team or the women, men or the women. It's going to be a solid competition. So I can't wait to watch it. And neither should you guys as well. So make sure you guys go ahead and check that out. Once again, Sunday for us. For Australia, what time is it? What day?
I think it's Sunday night for us, so that makes it Sunday morning for you guys, right?
Yep.
So Sunday night for us, England versus Spain. It's going to be huge, man. The TV ratings, the fan attendance, it's all been record breaking over here. Just a little aside. The semi-final and the quarterfinal that the Matildas played in against France. I'm so sad we didn't get to talk about that quarterfinal because that was just probably one of the best nights of my life with regards to sports.
Well,
they're the most. Well, they're the most watched sporting events in the last 10 years in Australia. Just to sort of give a feel for exactly how big it's been here. It's been phenomenal, and I expect that to continue. We've got Australia versus Sweden on the Saturday morning for you, Hector, at some ungodly time, I'm sure. And then, of course, the big dance, the final on Sunday night, England versus Spain. It's going to be incredible.
Yeah, man. I totally agree. I think I guess your moment of the tournament was France versus Australia. I mean, I'm gonna always go back to Ari Borges. her hat trick her debut hat trick. Her first World Cup goals was a hat trick. So that it got so much attention that she was mentioned on our Players of the Week for that day. But yeah, I mean, like I said, this tournament has been great. I think for the sake of the women's game, it was good that the U.S. women's national team did not win it again, because if there's one thing everybody knows, once something's not competitive, no one's going to really want to watch it. Look at the NBA, for example, especially when the Golden State Warriors were dominating that. So like, when it's the same thing over and over again, it's hard to really keep going with it. I also will say Japan, always the best, man. I love watching Japan, just like not only as a team, but just culturally. The stories of them like cleaning the stadium, just because that's what their culture is. It's always cool. I hope that Japan always is competing in World Cups, because I always want that to be shared about their culture.
Absolutely, one of the best away kits at the whole tournament too. Japan,
always the best jerseys, in my opinion, by far, in every single way. But all right, man, that's the Women's World Cup. Go ahead and check it out once again. Sunday morning, Sunday night if you're in Australia, but Sunday morning here in the States. Stuart, man, share everybody where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter at Stewie is Sick of It. You can find me on Instagram and Threads at Stewie the Sports Guy. Are you guys saying Twitter or X? Where this is a thing on the Australian
Twitter or X. We say both. I always forget, and I'll just say Twitter. I mean, technically, it's still Twitter.com. So
yeah, this is a thing. Also, you can find me on the Australian World Cup podcast with Callum Logie and Jason Irvine. It's a great listen if you're into the Women's World Cup, which if you're listening to this, I will assume you are. So find me over there too.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and take a break, and then we'll get going, because there's actually another Cup final happening this weekend, and that is the Leagues Cup final. So we'll take a break, and then we'll get going to my preview for Nashville versus Lionel Messi. So get ready for that one. But always, Stuart, it's always great to have you here, man. Thank you so much for giving us some time.
Hey, thanks for the invite, man. Love chatting football with you.
Hey everyone, it's Ryan from No Credentials Required to talk to you about one of our newest partners at Belly Up Sports, SeatGeek. Yeah, live sports is great on television, but the feeling of being at the arena is a priceless experience. That's why our friends at SeatGeek are there to help you find the best tickets at the best prices. Not only can you get tickets to sporting events, but you can also get tickets to concerts, comedy shows, musicals, and more. Search for your desired event now at SeatGeek.com, enter promo code BellyUpSports at checkout, and you save $20 off your first purchase. SeatGeek. Life's an event. We have the tickets.
All right, everybody. So the Leagues Cup is now down to its final. We have the competitors for this matchup, and so we're going to go ahead and look at how both Nashville and Inter Miami got here. So let's go ahead and we'll start off with Nashville SC. Going into the knockout round, they had to go against FC Cincinnati, a team that I thought has looked really strong in the MLS, and they go ahead and beat them in penalties. And then they get faced off against a historical team in Liga MX, in Club America, and they beat them in a very controversial penalty, but they moved on to the next round. Then they just destroyed Minnesota United 5-0, obviously. We'll talk a little bit about that game when we get to Players of the Week. And they defeated the last Liga MX team left from this tournament. I know there's so much controversy for Liga MX side because of the fact that, I don't know, they felt that the tournament was more favored towards MLS, which, I mean, obviously the fact that the games are only here in the U.S., officiating, I mean, I think Liga MX just learned about how terrible pro referees are in general. So that's been an issue that I've been complaining about refereeing in MLS for quite some time. So that's not necessarily a new thing. It's been recurring, but that is the new thing. That was one of the complaints that they had. But I would argue that yes, it was more biased towards MLS because the competitions were all in U.S. stadiums. No one had to travel to Mexico. The Mexican teams were the ones that had to travel. So yes, it was more of a strain for them. But at the end of the day, they signed up for this tournament. They could have maybe argued those stipulations, but they didn't, and they continued on with the tournament. And I'm sure it's because they were confident in thinking that they were going to go into this tournament and still be a good team, still be able to win the whole thing. But now we're learning when you open up the tournament for all teams in the competitions to be part of the Leagues Cup, that is pretty open. That it's not guaranteed you're going to make a deep run. So I think it does make the tournament a little bit more open. But for the Liga MX, just fans or players or anyone that has more towards bias towards Liga MX, and this is speaking as somebody that likes both Liga MX and Major League Soccer, you signed up for the tournament. At the end of the day, I even said it when me and Kelcey were talking about Liga MX that I personally think that they need to restructure the tournament a little bit better. Maybe let Mexico host some group matches. Like Mexico should be involved. I mean, it's Leagues Cup. You have the Canadian teams hosting as well. So I think in the future for Leagues Cup, they definitely need to look into adding more teams, adding the possibility of going to Mexico venues. That's just my opinion. But Nashville beats Monterrey 2-0 to secure their spot in the final. And also, Nashville has also secured a spot in the CONCACAF Champions, whatever it's going to be called now. But they got a spot in that tournament as well. And on the other side, we have Inter Miami. And I know that there's like a lot of controversy with Inter Miami, specifically because of the fact of like what they've been able to do with their roster, which since adding Lionel Messi, obviously the big marquee sign, not only for Inter Miami, but for the MLS, they added Sergio Busquets, Jordi Alba, and obviously, and Inter Miami has always had issues with DPs. That's going all the way back to like when they had Matuidi, but obviously it's kind of being more unfair. But I think when I looked at it more, I think Inter Miami did a really good job at following the rules of MLS because, yes, they do have their DP players, but there's other positions. There's other ways also to avoid the salary cap, and I think they've also been utilizing that U22 initiative. I might have to do a little bit more research on it, but I'm pretty sure that's what they took advantage of, so that way they could pay some more salaries as well. Because they do have a fairly young roster as well. Like a lot of the players that's in Inter Miami are also academy products. So just pointing that out. Like I said, I'm gonna probably do a little bit more research on that part, but that is something that I've noticed. But Inter Miami, they win their group outright. Really just beating everybody easily. They had seemed like it was gonna be their first like real test, which was going up against in-state rival Orlando City SC. It looked like it was gonna be a battle, but then after that, Miami ended up getting their separation and ended up winning 3-1 against Orlando. Then they go to Dallas. This was kind of a real test for them because they're going on the road and they had to deal with that Texas heat. It was very hot, but obviously, it was a battle. It was an ugly game. Ended 4-4 in regular time, so they went straight to penalties, and that's where Inter Miami just handled their business and won in pens 5-3. Then they had to go up against Charlotte. This is a little bit that hurts me a little bit more because it could have been the Houston Dynamo to make it to that round, but I don't think anything's going to change. I don't think that changes anything in that matchup because Miami just outclassed them 4-0 and they move on to the semifinal. The semifinal, a lot of people felt that this was going to be it. This is where Inter Miami is not going to be able to just, outclass any opponent because you were going up against one of the better teams in MLS in Philadelphia Union. Well, that was a lie because they handed Philadelphia a 4-1 beating, and that's how they secured their spot in the final. So you have Nashville, a very solid back line. You have Hani Mukhtar, who is an MLS MVP caliber player. I mean, he did win the MVP last season. Looks like he could probably repeat as an MLS MVP. Going up against the really hot Inter Miami team. And it's crazy, because when I look at Miami now, I did make that jersey bet of them making the playoffs. And I'm starting to think more and more that it possibly could happen that Messi and Sergio Busquets and Jordi Alba can really be the difference makers for Inter Miami. and they can go from bottom of the table into a very good playoff position, and maybe, who knows, win the MLS Cup. So it is really insane of how much of an impact Messi has. But like, I'll add other things to it though. Like, not only is Messi making the team, like, not only Messi on the field, are they better, but the team plays better. Like, I don't know, it's weird. It's weird to explain it because, like, you saw I at one point, like, the Cruz Azul game, the first game of the Leagues Cup for Miami. They looked bad in the beginning. They looked really bad. They looked like the last place team, but there were still moments of something to be positive about. Obviously, Messi comes in, they win the game, and then from there on out, you've seen Messi improving everybody's quality. Like, everyone became a quality player. So I think in general, man, like, this Inter Miami team is becoming more of a team, and it's because of guys like Sergio Busquets. And I mean, obviously, everyone's gonna be talking about Messi, but Sergio Busquets, man, being that general in that midfield and being able to distribute the ball as well as he's been. I mean, y'all are sleeping on Sergio Busquets. Keep an eye on him. But also, I mean, Jordi Alba, since he's come in, he's added a lot of spark in that defense as well. So, I mean, it is crazy. But, it props to David Beckham. They played the long game and they finally got it and I'm going to tell you, man, it's so hard for me to think that Miami doesn't win this game. Even with Nashville, and I mean, you have a very, like I said, solid backline. You have Walker Zimmerman, one of the best defenders in MLS. You have Hani Mokhtar, one of the best attackers in MLS. You have a very solid team. And also, fun fact, these are the two teams that came in together. So when they were both expansion teams, they came in the same year. I can't tell you what year it was, but they came in the same year. So it's really cool that these two are facing off against each other. This could, I mean, at this point, I kind of want to say this could be their biggest challenge yet, but it seems like every time we say that, they go ahead and win. They handle it very well. Their biggest challenge was FC Dallas, and I thought they were going to blow them out. More so just because I hate FC Dallas. But I think when I look at it, no one has been able to really answer Messi. No one has yet to have been able to really keep him quiet. And that's not necessarily an MLS thing. Everyone's going to try to say that he's making the league bad, but like, it doesn't help the league that Miami's has looked so dominant now because, like I said, some people really do believe that they could go ahead and turn it around and win the MLS Cup now. But I think what I'm seeing now is I just find it really hard to believe that anyone has an answer for Messi. And like I said, this isn't towards like Messi being just showing how bad MLS is, because he does this everywhere he goes. He did this in Liga, and he did this in La Liga. He did it a lot in the Champions League. Like, he is just that guy. Like, it's hard to defend Lionel Messi. Like, that's just pure simple. That's what it is. The problem is, a lot of times, the teams that can be Messi is just because when at the end of the day, Messi can't carry a team. Some of Messi's highlights has always been around a really well run team. I'm not saying Inter Miami is that team, but they're looking like they're building something. And I think that's also a testament to Tata Martino, the coach that they just hired to bring. Now, I mean, I make it seem like he's just some other guy, but really he's just a master tactician. Coach Messi in Argentina, Coach Messi in Barcelona, and has been proven in MLS because he won the MLS Cup with Atlanta United before he left for Mexico and ruined Mexico. But I mean, at the end of the day, this Miami team is just well run, well organized, and I think you got to give props to Tata Martino as well of how well he's been doing to get Inter Miami back on, not even get back on track, just get Inter Miami on track. And I want to say Nashville. I want to root for Nashville. I'm going to root for Nashville. Not that I'm a Messi hater or anything, but obviously I don't like the narrative that Messi's just going to run the table on MLS. And I kind of do believe it at the same time. Like, I'm worried. At this point, I'm like making sure I'm making some smart financial decisions. So I do have enough money to go ahead and buy that jersey because I'm going to have to give away a Messi jersey. But, yeah, I think Nashville, I want to see Nashville win it, but I think in all honesty, I just think Inter Miami right now is at a different class right now. And I think Messi, Sergio Busquets, and Jordi Alba and Tata Martino has definitely changed the culture in Inter Miami. And because of that, I got Inter Miami winning this thing, man. This is going to be a statement. There's going to be a huge target on Inter Miami's back if they are able to accomplish this and win Leagues Cup. because I think at the end of it all, like now everyone's gonna be like, shit. Now we gotta really beat Inter Miami, because I mean, yeah, they're in last place, but that 8th and 9th place spot seems really attainable now because of the way that this team has looked in this tournament. And I mean, this tournament could definitely get better. But I mean, Nashville and Inter Miami both have secured spots into the CONCACAF whatever cup. The 3rd place game, which would be between Monterrey and Philadelphia, that also the winner of that one will also get a spot in that tournament for the CONCACAF Champions Cup League. I don't know what they're gonna call it now, but I think at the end of the day, we'll see what happens with Inter Miami, and I can't wait to see what happens. It's gonna be a really good final. Either Messi continues to be Messi and be the GOAT that he is, or Nashville makes a huge statement and say like, hey, this league is not as easy as you think it's gonna be for Messi. So I can't wait to see that as well. But that's all I really got, man. So yeah, Leagues Cup final. I'm predicting Miami to win it. Though I'll be rooting for Nashville to make a statement victory as well. But we're gonna go ahead and transition over back to our. I don't know why I said back, but transition over to our preview for Bundesliga and the Serie A.
All right, we're back. I actually had I just had a realization that also the Leagues Cup final is coming up this weekend. So I actually put the Leagues Cup final preview before this. So that's just so you guys already know. All right. So obviously we got 2 more leagues starting off this weekend, and that is the Bundesliga and the Serie A. So we're going to start with the Bundesliga because, hot take for me, I think the Serie A has actually jumped over the Bundesliga when it comes to the Power 5 rankings in the league. I don't think it's a hot take at all. I think it really is that hot of a take.
No, not at all. There's no top. No, yeah, I absolutely agree.
Edward, any disagreement on that one?
I plead the 5th.
Okay, Timo. Calm down there.
All right. So the teams entering this season of the Bundesliga is FC Augsburg, Bayer Leverkusen, Bayern Munich, VfL Bochum, Borussia Dortmund, Borussia Mönchengladbach, Darmstadt. Man, this is going to be a true testing of my pronunciations. Eintracht Frankfurt, Cologne, SC Freiburg, Heidenheim. That's we want to say Heidenreich for some weird reason.
Don't say that too many times. We'll be okay.
Hoffenheim, Mainz, my favorite team to say. RB Leipzig, VfB Stuttgart, Union Berlin, Werder Bremen, and Wolfsburg. The new teams joining the Bundesliga this season is FC Heidenheim for the first time in their club's history, and Darmstadt 98, which is coming back after a 6-year absence. So teams that we haven't seen in quite so, well, I mean, one we have never seen before, and one that we haven't seen since 6 years ago. So 2022, 2021, 2020, 19, 18, 17. Since last time they were here was 2016. So that's just the Cubs won the World Series that year.
Pre-pandemic is all you had to say.
Yeah. I was in college. I was a sophomore in college. So last time Darmstadt was in the Bundesliga.
Making me feel old.
I'm also 31. So
yeah, I know we're almost the same age, but like
yeah, I also started college super late. So
still making me feel old.
But yeah. Obviously the some of the storylines to be following this season, at least for me, obviously Kelcey and Edward, you can chime in any storylines that you want to add in after I say these. But obviously Heidenheim is going to be something to keep an eye on. This is their first time ever in the Bundesliga. Probably it's not going to end well for them, but it is their first time in the Bundesliga, so it's going to be it's always cool to see like these first time clubs like make their appearance, and you want to hope that they're going to make it, but I mean it usually doesn't pan out that well. And then stories of, I mean Harry Kane finally with Bayern Munich. It's kind of like they both needed each other. Obviously Bayern Munich was not the same team last season without Robert Lewandowski. They're hoping that Sadio Mane would be that solution. But what they didn't realize is Sadio Mane is not a striker. He's actually a winger. Crazy concept there.
Could have just asked me. I could have told you. Oh wait, I did say it on this exact show last year.
Yeah.
All right.
I heard.
So yeah, Sadio Mane did not pan out, obviously, positionally and locker room wise, because he apparently likes to hit people. But now he's over in Saudi Arabia. Actually, brought Al Nassr their first trophy, Saudi League. Don't ask me. Saudi League, pay me like $500,000 and I'll finally figure it out. But
pay me $5, I'll figure it out for you.
Yeah. But obviously the one thing that they clearly missed was a true number 9, similar to what Robert Lewandowski is. And I mean, Edward has heard me say this, and I'm sure Kelcey's also heard me say this, but Harry Kane is the English Robert Lewandowski. So this guy is a true 9, straight to the T, what you expect from what a 9 is. As a matter of fact, he is wearing number 9 for Bayern Munich. But Harry Kane gets an opportunity to be competing for trophies, something that he has not been able to get, not only with Tottenham, but also with England. He's always close, but no cigar. And a club like Bayern Munich, I'm not saying that they're going to compete for the Champions League or at least contenders, but they definitely raise their chances at winning the Bundesliga, which is a league they've dominated. Even at their worst last year, they still managed to win the Bundesliga. So you would hope that Harry Kane could continue the course of what Bayern Munich has always been able to do, which is dominate the Bundesliga.
Yeah. Hopefully Dortmund can actually take that away this season.
That's fair. What a wild season. We're talking about Bayern scoring 92 goals, only giving up 38, and still having a bad season. It's just like, I guess when they scored goals, they scored a bunch of them, and they didn't score. Well, it was a struggle, but I think it's very interesting with Munich going forward in this one. Whether Dortmund can pull it out, that's a good question. But I'm actually looking at Union Berlin as my storyline. Like, Union Berlin finishing Champions League spot last year, going to be in the Champions League for the first time this year. Talking about a team that was 3 years ago, Bundesliga 2. Hard to say Union Berlin will actually not be able to pull one out again this year. Maybe improve to third. Maybe upset RB Leipzig. We'll never know. Maybe upset Borussia Dortmund or Bayern at second. Oh, no. Watch out.
Union Berlin has gotten better every time. So far, since Union Berlin has come up to the Bundesliga, they have just gotten better and better. Like, I honestly thought they were going to be another one of those teams that just got promoted to the Bundesliga, are going to go right back down to the Bundesliga 2. But they've stayed here, and they've gotten better. And they haven't necessarily went after and gone like high marquee signings. They just play the game well and play the game right. They have added a few pieces here and there. Obviously, I'm watching Union Berlin because they have Brendan Aronson on loan over there from Leeds, obviously an American, and obviously they also have PFOC. So, an American partnership going to go on there, hopefully. But you're right with Union Berlin. It is a team that it's going to be interesting to watch. Can they jump over in that top 3? But I'm sure everyone wants to talk about this, but Borussia Dortmund, they were literally one game away from finally ending the streak that Bayern Munich has had for 11 straight seasons of winning the Bundesliga. And so, did Borussia Dortmund do enough to keep this team competitive? And you're gonna have another year with Sule. You're gonna have, hopefully, Marco Rose can do his best, which I feel like this could probably be his final year, as just as a footballer. Their biggest upgrade, which I don't think no one's really been talking about it, is the return of Sebastian Haller, who was out for majority of the season because of fighting cancer. Still want to be one of the top strikers in the world. A lot of people don't really talk about him enough because he's very underrated, but he's back and he's healthy and probably stronger more than ever. So that's for me, that's a huge upgrade for Borussia Dortmund. And who's to say, what are we going to see from Gio Reyna as well?
Yeah, and Gio Reyna, man, that dude is cold. So hoping he'll pull the moves and he'll pull all the stops and score goals, assists, what have you. be first place.
Would you say he is ice cold with that hairdo?
Oh
Vanilla ice?
God, Kelcey.
Also,
I'm sorry.
but anything else to add on to the
No,
story?
you're not. That's what you said.
I know, I'm not sorry at all. I 100% enjoyed every single moment of that cringe.
You
I really hope Greg Berhalter doesn't really fuck this up. As like I get excited about the American players that we have.
Yeah.
And it's like every day I wake up and I remember that Greg Berhalter's coaching the U.S. men's national team, probably even coached the U.S. women's national team from the way they were playing. So yeah, it's rough. It's rough.
The pain.
Yeah.
No, I don't know if there's much to add to this, except for Kareem Adeyemi. Maybe might be an impact player for Dortmund.
Yeah, for sure. Dortmund. There's one thing. There's always some young player that just gets all of our attention, and I don't know if it's something about that yellow and black, but it gets the attention. Like that's what it is. But all right, guys, players to watch. Who is a player that you guys are going to keep an eye on in the Bundesliga this season?
Honestly, yeah, Gio Reyna. Would be the player to watch.
Man, I just gave mine away. Honestly, Adeyemi is my player to watch, just because he's so impactful for Dortmund, coming off the bench. Not even with Haller starting, you're not going to have to worry about him. You know, whether they play him on the wing, similar to what they tried with Aubameyang. He can do it. He has proven he can do it. So I look for him to make an impact there for Dortmund as well.
A player that I'm going to be keeping an eye on is over at RB Leipzig, and that is Xavi Simons. He had an amazing season over at PSV, so much so that PSG went ahead and activated their €6 million buyback clause, which what a steal! And now they should apparently they don't feel that he's ready for PSG, which is crazy to hear that. But they sent him over to RB Leipzig, which kind of similar with Dortmund, is really good at developing young talent. Probably not the level of Dortmund, but RB Leipzig has also been one of those clubs that are really good at developing players, and then they go and play for. Well, they don't really go play for Bayern Munich; they go play elsewhere. But
yeah,
I mean, nonetheless, RB Leipzig is also a really good club to be developing. But
also,
yeah,
I want to throw out one that, speaking of former RB Leipzig players, returning back to the Bundesliga for the first time. Naby Keita, by the way, it's a question. It's an interesting one, but I don't know. I just want to throw that out there. Obviously, being a former Liverpool player, but never really got to stay healthy. Going to Werder Bremen, see what he can do to Bremen.
Yeah, he needs to bounce back. I think his time at Liverpool was unfortunate, but yeah, definitely that for sure. Teams to watch. Who is your guys' team to watch in the Bundesliga this season?
Really? You got to ask me that? Really?
Look,
Edward is nobody.
You've been picking the obvious ones that everyone's expecting. I've actually done a pretty good job so far of picking teams that I don't support, but yeah, go ahead, Edward.
Dortmund.
Obviously, yeah, Dortmund.
Wow, surprise! Yeah, I gave mine away earlier as well. Union Berlin is the team I'm keeping an eye on as well in this one. Maybe, yeah, that's it.
I'm actually gonna say Hoffenheim, because obviously there's an American coach there. I believe he used to coach Stuttgart. Obviously got fired for some reason. But he still got a job in the Bundesliga. But Hoffenheim, obviously for quite some time the Bundesliga has always been known for getting Americans, and I mean, obviously. We forget about the coach for Hoffenheim. Matter of fact, I forgot his name, but
it is Pellegrino Matarazzo.
Doesn't even sound American, but that's American.
No, he is 100% American though.
Yeah,
he was born in Wayne, New Jersey. So, ladies and gentlemen, he is American.
It always goes back to New Jersey. New Jersey, like, if you guys don't know, New Jersey is like the soccer hub. Like, it is basically like our, I don't want to say this, but our Catalonia.
Kind of, yeah.
But like, there's a lot of players that come out of that New Jersey region. Like, I'll throw Pennsylvania as well, because obviously Christian Pulisic.
Yeah.
I mean, Claudio Reyna was a Jersey guy. Berhalter was also, God damn it.
Yeah. There's a lot. No, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of Jersey guys in that area.
Someone that I got lucky enough to interview, Glenn Davis. Glenn Davis, obviously, big soccer announcer over here in Houston. Has his radio show, Soccer Matters with Glenn Davis. But like, he was a Jersey guy. Like, Jersey has always been like the soccer hub for the U.S. Hopefully Texas could finally catch up to them. Thanks to FC Dallas, but God damn it.
By the way, Matarazzo, also another one you talk about Americans always being in Germany. He is the perfect example of that. Signed with the Division 4 team, but when he first got to start playing, eventually moved up to FC Nuremberg 2, where he then took over as manager literally the year after he finished. He was their caretaker manager for a year.
Yikes. All right. But yeah, so Hoffenheim is the team that I'll be keeping an eye on. But all right, the question that we've been asking so far, if Bayern Munich does not win the Bundesliga, it is because blank won. Who is blank for you guys?
Do I really have to say it again?
Oh my God, Edward.
Bro,
all right, go ahead.
Timo
Dortmund.
Timo Werner.
Oh, you know what? I take it back. Not Dortmund. RB Leipzig.
Are you just trying not to jinx Dortmund?
No, because Leipzig's been doing really good. And then with Xavi Simons playing, he's been playing pretty fucking good.
All right, well, I'm going to say Borussia Dortmund because, they've always been second. So
let's take an easy one off the board, huh? That's what we're going there? Yeah, I guess I can't take famine or, major ungodly diseases or disasters as the winner. I guess that's not a possibility. So,
maybe it's Harry Kane. Maybe it was Harry Kane.
I was gonna say Sadio Mane, but never mind. He already got out. He got his money. I'm gonna go FC Union Berlin. I'm gonna stick with my team to watch. So,
all right. So that is the Bundesliga this season. All right. On the timeline, on the script, it says La Liga, but obviously this is Serie A. So Serie A,
best La Liga ever.
In Serie A, this is the teams that are competing this year's Serie A season. That's AC Milan, Atalanta, Bologna, Cagliari, Empoli, Fiorentina, Frosinone, Genoa, Inter Milan, Juventus, Lazio, Lecce, Monza, Napoli, Roma, Salernitana, Sassuolo, Torino, Udinese, and Verona. I like how Salernitana, I've said how I hate pronouncing that team. And since they got promoted and they still are here.
My favorite was your mispronunciation of Genoa.
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 Oh,
Genoa.
Oh, man, this is like Bogota.
It's literally part of the Rat Pack. It's literally a song in the Rat
me.
Pack. It's a song in the Rat Pack. It's just Genoa.
All right, cool. Well, there you go. The new teams this season for the Serie A, I was about to say La Liga. I'm really butchering myself here. In the Serie A is Cagliari, that obviously have been away after coming right back up into the Serie A after last year.
We missed them.
The team that starts with a G that I'm not going to try to pronounce anymore. Genoa. After
it's
1 year,
a salami.
well.
It's literally a type of salami.
If it's not gabagool, I don't know.
Oh, okay, all right, never mind.
And then Frosinone, who has returned to the Serie A after a 4-year absence. So it is definitely some. We'll see if they stay up or stay down. We'll see what happens there. But all right, some storylines to follow. I'm just gonna say this: Juventus versus financial fair play, which I think is the biggest load of shit. It is. If that's the case, there's a lot of teams that definitely need to get hit more. Juventus is definitely one of those teams that are guilty of financial fair play, but there's definitely a lot of teams. Chelsea should definitely be getting investigated. But there's definitely
just trying to get uninvestigated. Yeah.
There's a lot of teams that I think could definitely get hit for financial fair play. Weirdly enough, it's a lot of the teams that we support. And so like it does suck that Juventus has been the one receiving the blunt of it. Obviously, they got hit with a point deduction, which last season they were in a Champions League spot, and because of that point deduction for violating the financial fair play rules, they are now not in any competition for Europe this season. So, I mean, if anything, they're going to be more focused on Serie A to win Serie A this year. But yeah, I mean, how does Juventus respond after what happened with them with financial fair play? Is going to be something I want to keep an eye on.
Okay.
Probably better than they responded to getting, what is it? Stripped completely of all football operations and sent to Serie B.
Mm-hmm.
And deducted 40 points that first season in Serie B, so they still couldn't win the league despite being deducted, despite winning every game. Yeah, still it's going to be better than that. I can guarantee you that.
I was also buying referees, but that's.
I mean, whatever the reason is, Juventus doesn't care.
That's a fair point. But yeah, another thing that I kind of want to look at is also AC Milan. I mean, they still going at it with a big summer of just spending on younger players. To be more specific, obviously they added Christian Pulisic, Loftus-Cheek. They got also Yunus Musa. I feel like they got somebody from RB Salzburg, but they have definitely gotten a lot younger. This AC Milan team has been pretty young for quite some time, but being led by Zlatan Ibrahimovic for, I wouldn't say fully a lot of the season. He's definitely been dealing with injuries, which is the reason why he finally retired. But you have Olivier Giroud leading the front. Rafael Leao has been given the number 10. The number 10. You have Christian Pulisic on the other side, rocking 11. It's crazy thing. You lose Sandro Tonali, but this team looks pretty strong still. And I mean, like I said, they went after a lot of young players, and I think that they want to make a big statement, especially because they were one game away from making it to the final of the Champions League, and also were not that long ago won the Serie A. So AC Milan definitely had a huge summer. Definitely want to see what comes from it.
Yes, mostly because there's a lot of fun players there on AC. You mentioned Pulisic, obviously Yunus Musa, but also just everybody else. AC Milan is I have a weird soft spot in my heart for AC. As long as you don't bring up 2005, I have a pretty good soft spot in my heart for Milan, and I do think they're a very interesting team to watch going forward for sure. Just trying to regain the what once was type of vibe for AC.
Mm-hmm. The other thing I want to look at is obviously the new American Revolution that's happening. It used to be the Bundesliga was the league affiliated with young American players, but now it looks like the Serie A is now entered that chat.
Starting American players, top quality American players finally.
Yeah. Obviously Christian Pulisic, Yunus Musa over in AC Milan. Over in Juventus, you have Tim Weah, which I'm really happy for. Even though it's Juventus, yes. I'm still very happy for Tim Weah, one of my favorite players in the U.S. men's national team. They still have, as far as I know, they still have Weston McKennie. I know there's been rumors about them trying to sell Weston, but then there are also very conflicting reports where they also want to use Weston McKennie. It's very confusing what's going on with Weston McKennie over at Juventus, but and then I mean they're not here in the Serie A, but obviously in the Serie B you have Venezia, which has Tanner Tessman, which hasn't necessarily gotten any attention from the U.S. men's national team since he left FC Dallas to go to Venezia, but they still also have Gianluca Busio also over there, I believe, over at Venezia. But yeah, Italy, you're starting to see more American players.
Forgetting one. Brian Reynolds.
No.
I think is
he not with Roma anymore?
I thought he left Roma.
Oh no, he left Roma. Just kidding.
But obviously the other thing that I believe Inter Milan has been trying to talk with Arsenal on trying to bring in Balogun to Inter Milan. But I also know Monaco is also trying to fight for him as well. But yeah, the start of a lot of Italian teams wanting to bring in American players has been has been kind of become the theme this summer. Slowly but surely, I think there's going to be definitely an American takeover in the Serie A.
By the way, did you mention Novakovic? He's Serie B. He's with Venezia as well.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. All right, but
Yep. Sorry, I didn't know because he was with Frosinone, and I didn't know if he was still there, and I was just looking at that.
okay, but yeah. All right. Any stories you guys want to talk about for Serie A? Edward?
The return of Juventus versus Milan. Yay!
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, AC Milan definitely dominated last season. I can say that I can vouch for that with me winning the singing bet table. But for you guys, who is that player this season in the Serie A to watch?
Christian Pulisic.
Okay, yeah.
Well, I'm gonna keep that thing going. I'll go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
You finish that.
Go cook.
Well,
cook.
no, because I mean, I want to see if he's gonna bring that same energy that he had in Chelsea, where he was just making these crazy ass plays.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I think he leaves such a terrible situation at Chelsea where, you know, it's funny enough. Like Frank Lampard was the only one that really used him. You thought that Thomas Tuchel coming into Chelsea, someone that was familiar with Christian Pulisic, would have utilized a guy that he's very familiar with, but that became not. And it just seemed like no one had faith in him, and it was kind of crazy to think, especially when you have an owner like Todd Bowley, who you would think would be trying to keep the American in the team. But yeah, his time at Chelsea has just been nothing of a nightmare, which is crazy to think that it early on he was able to walk out with a Champions League trophy. But you know, he gets a fresh start. He's going to play with AC Milan, a team that seems really determined to use him, that likes what he brings to the table. And I think that's one thing that I think he didn't get at Chelsea was the faith in him that he can bring quality to the team. I mean, he made a very big impact in his debut at AC Milan, brought an assist against Real Madrid. So I mean, yeah, I feel like he's definitely in a healthier situation over in Milan. So I can't wait to see what he does over there. Kelcey, who is your player to watch in this Serie A?
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna add on to the American vibe on this one, but I'm gonna go to Juventus, and I'm gonna go Timothy Weah. I think seeing what Timothy Weah has been able to do, not just for the U.S. but back in his time in France as well. He's not like he's a wash away player. It's not like he's just some guy. He's a starting quality winger that you're looking at. That for Juventus, you need service into the box. You've talked about it. There's a reason that they're potentially not going to ship out their striker. Like there's a reason he's potentially staying, and that's because the service he's going to be getting from the wings now is something he needs. And Timothy Weah is somebody that not only can he play as a straight out winger in the attack, but he can play as a wing back as well, which is really what Juventus saw and loved about him. So, you know, he can impact the defense, he can impact the attack. So I think it's going to be Timothy Weah. It's going to be a very interesting player to watch this season. And I feel like he can impact a lot of different games for them as well. So maybe positively, hopefully positively, and not negatively, but it could go either way if we're being honest.
Yeah, I think Timothy Weah, like I said, he's been a guy I've been behind going all the way back to PSG. I mean, when he was just causing havoc in the U20s for the US. I mean, he comes from he's one of those unique situations where he was brought up in a culture of the game. I mean, his dad being the only African to have won the Ballon d'Or, like he's got pedigree with his name, and you see it with the fact that he came up through the rankings of the PSG academy system. Like he's not everyone wants to say that this guy's a bust. I mean, this guy has loads of talent. He's been such a massive headache for the Mexican national team every time on the wing. I feel like everywhere against anybody, he's been such a headache to. He's the only one that really contributed to a goal in the World Cup.
To any goal chances, any goal opportunities came off his foot, by the way.
Yeah. So, I mean, Timothy Weah.
And let's not forget, he's a French league champion, not playing for PSG.
Exactly.
Think about that for a second. He was the only he's been one of the only teams to usurp this PSG team in the last 15 years, basically.
And it's a guy that used to play for PSG. But yeah, Timothy Weah, I know a lot of people try not to give him a lot of faith in him, but I honestly will say I feel like he's the best player on the U.S. men's national team. Maybe you're crazy, maybe crazy to some Americans, but I think what he brings to the table, his creativity, his quality, his technical skill. I mean, the guy is a true definition of what a winger is supposed to be, and I think that's why one of the reasons why. And also, Edward definitely would love this guy because he dribbles really good and he's super fast. Honestly, if he ever leaves Juventus, I'm sure Edward would definitely open him up welcome him with open arms to Barcelona
or Dortmund or whichever team Edward wants to cheer for, where Weah goes.
Yeah. Actually,
Man United.
Juventus is a team that we're cheers for, but yeah, I mean,
you'll love him, Edward.
Yeah. For me, I think my player to watch is man. There's like a lot of players that I want to keep an eye on, but I believe he's still over in Napoli for some weird reason, and that is Victor Osimhen. I don't think he went to Chelsea.
I think you're right.
Yeah, fact check me on that one, Kelcey. But
no, I'm pretty sure he stayed for sure. But
yeah, I heard no. I know that they were going after him, but then I think after Chelsea got in Nkunku, I think they kind of pushed away on going after Victor Osimhen. But as Kelcey's going to fact check me, Victor Osimhen, I mean, man had probably arguably one of the best seasons, a career season. That it's crazy to think that he's still in Napoli. I'm sure he's gonna get an offer pretty soon, but I think he did play enough to prove that he should be going into an English Premier League team, because one, Napoli just outright won the Serie A last year, and it was definitely behind him. I mean, he had definitely a very solid performance. Napoli was very close to making it to the Champions League semifinal. They were one game away. It was just they got burnt out and had to face AC Milan. But yeah, I think Victor Osimhen, whether he stays or he leaves the Serie A, is a player to keep an eye on because like he's got a lot of quality. I don't know what's going to be happening with Napoli. I know a lot of players have been shipped out already. There's rumors that Chucky Lozano might be leaving Napoli as well. So there's a lot of things happening in Napoli. Like they're not going to be the same team from last year. And I mean, can Victor Osimhen repeat what he did last year, or is he gonna maybe fall off as his team is kind of disassembling, or is he gonna finally get that big move?
That's a lot of good questions because honestly, he is so talented. You almost like if you lose somebody like Herman Lozano, like Chucky Lozano, that's gonna hurt. I mean, there's no doubt about that. But I mean, I think there's possibility. You still have Simeone there, as a potential guy to play alongside of Victor. Matteo Politano as well. But yeah, I mean, it does really go through Victor. It seems like at the end of the day, and especially for that Napoli team. So yeah, watching him is going to be very interesting. He is that dude. Not just can he, talk about scoring goals, but he can create his own goal, not just with his feet. Not just dribbling the ball, but actually blowing past defenders, getting himself in correct positions. Some of his runs are him on one side and Chucky Lozano on the other was just not fair, attacking defenders on that back line. So putting him just one-on-one with the defender is equally unfair. Kind of embarrassing for that defender in a lot of ways. So yeah, we'll see. Victor, I do like him as a player to watch for sure.
Yeah. All right, team to watch this Serie A season. Should I even ask you, Owen? Is that what you're trying to get? Is that what your giggle means?
Pretty much.
All right, it's Juventus. It's Juventus. Everyone's going to keep an eye on Juventus. Juventus is this team, so
that's fair. That's fair. I'm probably not gonna surprise anybody with this one either. I'm gonna go AC. I feel like AC Milan is simple, easy answer. That didn't make that many changes. You make that many changes to your team, you got to be somebody to watch, especially considering your pedigree.
It's very true. I mean, I guess I have to be the one to mention this team because this team has not been brought up at all, and it's the team that made it to the Champions League final, and that is Inter Milan. obviously there's.
I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to be the one to say him.
There's so much going on with Inter Milan, the whole Lukaku thing, the will they won't they with Chelsea thing. They also lost some players as well. Obviously they're very invested in trying to get Balogun. You're wondering what has this team actually done to get better, which I believe they added Jan Sommer. I think Jan Sommer is actually now their new goalkeeper. Obviously they lost Onana. So yeah, I mean they still have their that solid back line. They now have another top quality goalkeeper. Maybe not as great on his feet like Andre Onana is, but still a top quality shot stopper with Jan Sommer. You still have Lautaro Martinez somehow. You're still a very loaded team. Like, I mean, you still have a lot of quality, which is crazy to think. Filippo Inzaghi, you have somehow made me a believer in you. I'm actually impressed.
You might not like their new signing then.
Who they get?
Marko Arnautovic.
For Serie A, that's not a bad signing.
Yeah.
I don't know where he's playing. Because he's definitely not a winger anymore. He probably have to play striker. I can't see any other position. It's weird how Inter Milan's formation is. Because they play with a 3 in the back. I think they play with kind of like 3 forwards. It's like a
3-4-1-2 is really kind of what it ends up being.
Yeah, it's like a weird formation, but I mean, you're talking about a potential 3-headed monster with Lautaro Martinez, Arnautovic. Even if he comes off the bench, that's still quite an attack. Lukaku, depending what happens, that's still up in the air with Lukaku.
He might end up at Juve. So
yeah. There's an Argentinian there. I just don't remember his name. I know he played with Lazio for quite some time. How am I blanking on this guy? Shoot, Edward, help me here. Kelcey's researching, but
Barella or Joaquin Correa?
Correa. That's who it was.
Correa.
Good job, Edward. But yeah, Inter Milan, they're still a solid team. I don't know about making it back to the Champions League final in any way, but they're still going to be a team that you should definitely be keeping an eye on. I think it's great. I think we can now say that Serie A is back. I think it's becoming a competitive league once again. You're seeing them go far in these European competitions. Hell, Fiorentina made it to the Conference League final. You want to take that into some sort of notice? But I mean, literally last year there was an Italian team in each final, in the Conference League, in the Europa League, in the Champions League. Italy was represented. They lost all of them, but they were represented. So I mean, like, I think that is something to consider. I think it's safe to say that Serie A is officially back. So I think that's a good thing. But last thing to say about this is, obviously, if Napoli does not win the Serie A, which I mean seems very likely it could happen, it is because blank won. Who is that blank for you guys? Do I even have to ask, Edward?
Ask Kelcey first.
Okay.
So he's definitely not picking Juventus.
Yeah, that's yeah. I mean, okay, that opens that one up for me. Thank you. No, if it's not there, actually, I'm gonna go with a surprise team here. If it's not Napoli, I think it's gonna be Atalanta.
Ooh.
Coming out of nowhere. They made some big moves this offseason too. We didn't talk about them really as well, but they made some nice moves this offseason.
It's crazy to think that they offloaded Højlund. Which, I'm sorry, Edward. I don't really see the value in that one. I mean, I don't know. Ten Hag's a genius. I can't argue with it. I mean, but maybe Højlund could be good. But I don't think he's the reason why Atalanta has been very competitive. I'll say that. He's young, he's raw. Like, I think it's fair to compare him to Darwin Nunez. I think the fact that he is very raw, like, there's potential. There's there could be something there. But no, I think Atalanta is a very. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Atalanta. I think now that Inter Milan, AC Milan, and Juventus are now kind of, and Napoli, you can throw Napoli in there, is like rising. Atalanta's kind of been getting overshadowed by everybody, but Atalanta I think could be a really good pick. For me, I think AC Milan is just going to be like very too young, but their experience now is going to be Olivier Giroud, and that's a lot to think about there. But
man just scores goals and wins championships. That's all he does.
That's a fair point. But you know what? I think even with all the drama, I'd probably go with Inter Milan. I don't think, clearly they things are clicking for them. They somehow made it to the Champions League final, which I don't think anybody expected them to be there. They actually kept it very competitive. It wasn't for just a godly shot from Rodri. That game could have gone to extra time for all we know. And sometimes the team with the better defense has the favor, and unfortunately they kept Haaland very quiet. I just want to point that out. So I think Inter Milan could definitely make a big statement to win the Serie A.
I like that pick.
All right. So that is going to be it for the previews. So players of the week, I believe Edward's going to actually have to step out for a bit. So I'll do his player of the week for him. Players of the week is brought to you by In the Clutch. In the Clutch is an apparel company that is brought to you by the Players Association of Major League Soccer, Major League Baseball, the National Basketball Association, the NFL, and just so much more. They make amazing designs, and best of all, the material is amazing and it fits super comfortably. And it's so much so it actually passes the Fat Boy test. Quoted by Kelcey Coyne.
That's definitely me. You guys who don't know the Fat Boy test, we'll say it again. Every time I'm on the show, I feel like I'd say the same line. If you lift your arms up and the tummy shows, it will not pass the Fat Boy test. Don't embarrass yourself, ladies and gentlemen. Mostly gentlemen. Don't embarrass yourselves. Get a shirt that passes the Fat Boy test every time.
But yeah, and best of all, the money goes back to who really matters when it comes to the sports, and that is the players. So if you guys love all of that, make sure you guys go to intheclutch.com, use the code insert name at checkout, and save yourself 10% off your purchase. Once again, insert name at checkout, save yourself 10% off your purchase. All right, Kelcey, who is your player of the week?
Yeah, I'm going Haney Mukhtari for Nashville SC in their wow performance over Minnesota. Five total goals. He ends up with 1 goal, 3 assists in that one. Heck of a performance there for Nashville, getting into the quarterfinals semifinals of the League's Cup. They'll be playing that here coming up soon. I'm sure we just talked about that. And look, I got to go Haney Mukhtari for sure in this one. It's one of the best performances we've seen in the League's Cup so far. Despite Messi scoring yet again, he continues to score. It's Haney Mukhtari.
Yeah. Obviously one of the front runners to repeat as a MVP of. I'm not going to say the actual name of the award. I refuse to say that man's name, but the MLS is MVP
Landon
award.
Donovan's MLS Player of the Year award.
Yeah, I refuse to acknowledge that man. But yeah, Haney Mukhtari, amazing player. Definitely worth noting. Edwards' player of the week is Erling Haaland, who scored 2 goals in Manchester City's 3-0 victory against Burnley. And I gotta say, before we go to my player of the week, it was very hysterical when Erling Haaland, when him and Pep, I wouldn't say he got into it with Pep. It seemed more likely Pep got into him.
Yeah.
And obviously he pushed off the camera. I don't know what the hell happened there. I'm pretty sure he scored. He scored in the first half, so I don't really know where the hell, why. It's it's weird to me. Like I always with Erling Haaland, I feel like Pep's frustrations is also something from a time when at Barcelona where he had a very similar striker to Erling Haaland's skill set, and there was a lot of tension between those two as well, and obviously that's Zlatan Ibrahimovic. There's a lot. I think you can very much compare Erling Haaland and Zlatan, because obviously both in their sizes, their their touch of the ball and their goal scoring ability is just out of this world. Yeah.
But I think you're right. So, I mean, based off of what Haaland said, he actually came out and they talked about it afterwards. It was what Pep was mad about was actually his demonstrative motions towards his own teammates. So, in this exact the exact reference that Haaland talks about, he talks about he was frustrated that Silva had not been playing on the ball towards the end of the half, not playing one to his feet, and Pep was like, "Look, we're trying to kill the end of the time. You're already up 2-0. There's no point in pressuring, like wasting the possession. Let's just get the possession and get out." He's explaining like why his mentality of possession first works, which we all know Pep's mentality. Like Pep's game, his tiki-taka style is more evolved than a normal tiki-taka as well. So it's a little more possession-based, a lot more skillful. And that's something that really Haaland last year, I don't even think he fully grasped it last year. This year, he's getting a full grasp on it. Mm-hmm. And it's very interesting to see. I like that comparison to Zlatan. Obviously, him and Zlatan, Pep and Zlatan did not get along that well in the time in Barcelona, so much so leading to Zlatan's departure. I think with Haaland, it's more like he's young, he's impressionable. The demonstrative things, you're trying to avoid that from affecting the team morale, especially for somebody like Man City who, look, you got all these world-class players, they got to be able to play together. So It's not like everybody's looking at one player as like, oh my gosh, like every one of those guys are world-class. So this is one of those situations like it's just nip it in the bud early and then we'll solve it going forward. Like it'll be fine going forward. And so I kind of like this coaching moment from Pep. Do I like the camera being in the face when it happens? No, not at all. I think that's something that maybe could have waited until they were in the.
I think that's where I'm at with Pep. I understand that you want to let it be known to Erling Haaland that that's not how we're not gonna do things that way. I honestly have to say, like, I feel like there's at least some from just his experience with Zlatan.
Yeah.
That's very similar to what Erling Haaland did. But yeah, you got to keep that behind closed doors because then you're just getting yourself attention, unwanted attention, specifically. But I mean, obviously, it's handled. Haaland, I don't think is as hot-headed as Zlatan is. Is also not as stubborn as Zlatan is. Haaland's actually very even keel, total vibes kind of guy.
He's a surfer boy. Like, honest to goodness, he is a yogi surfer boy. Like, the dude does yoga on a constant basis to keep himself maintained and not overly emotional. So it is actually kind of a cool thing that I don't know. We rarely see that type of coaching nowadays. Many times it's now then taken to social media afterward. Like we very rarely see like the hard-nosed coaching that we grew up with. Like, hey, don't be demonstrative to your teammates. That's something that I'm sure I've been yelled at before about. I'm sure anybody who's played sports has probably been yelled at about it before. Mm-hmm. And it just goes to show you how important Pep regards not necessarily the talent on the field, the play on the field, but the interactivity, like the interactions between his players and how important that is to him. And I think you're right, though. I do think a lot of it goes back to that time with Zlatan. He's just like, look, I've experienced it. I know what to look for. The ultimate ego, if you guys have ever watched the Blue Lock anime, that's a big thing in that. They talk about Zlatan a lot. That is Zlatan. Zlatan is an ultimate ego. But, trying to prevent Erling Haaland from going down that path. Pep knows the game. He's one of those well-known coaches. He's well-respected, so if there's any coach that can do it to keep him from going down there, it's Pep, and I like this moment. But yeah, I agree. I think it's fully down to his experience with Zlatan and trying just to prevent it from ever becoming a thing again.
Yeah, exactly. And then my player of the week is Dani Olmo, who scores a hat trick in RB Leipzig's 3-0 win against Bayern Munich in the German Super Cup. I know a lot of people are trolling the fact that like Harry Kane was on the bench, which maybe seems a little premature to be bringing this guy in when he just barely got there. I'm sure he's been there in physicals and all that shit, but like, obviously they pinning the loss on him. Like I said, this Bayern Munich team is not where they want to be yet. Like, I mean, there's a lot of players that have to step up in specific roles. So it's gonna. I don't think that this team will still be Bayern Munich, but obviously there's gonna be a time part. Like it's not gonna happen overnight, but I mean RB Leipzig having the performance that they need to be having when they do face Bayern Munich. I mean, if they can replicate this in the regular season, I mean, RB Leipzig can definitely fancy their chances of maybe trying to beat Borussia Dortmund in winning the Bundesliga. But yeah, Dani Olmo, what a performance! Scores a hat trick. Obviously, is going to get their attention. So congratulations. Yeah. So congratulations.
This dude just continues his talent. It's kind of amazing.
Yeah. I mean, already getting called up with I was going to say Mexico, with Spain's national team. Yeah, he's definitely a bright part of Spain's future. Hopefully, we're going to see a different Spanish national. I mean, I don't even know who's going to be the coach for Spain. I don't think they've announced it yet, but
give Iniesta a year and he'll take over.
You're right. So congratulations to Hani Mukhtar, Erling Haaland, and Dani Olmo for being our players of the week. It is now posted on social media on Instagram and Twitter /X. On X/Twitter, it'll be in the subtweet. You're just going to go ahead and you can vote for who is your player of the week there. So obviously, you guys do help out in the selection for the Roosevelt Spencer's Player of the Year Award. And if you go on Instagram, it'll be on our stories. So that's how you can also vote over there. So those are your two ways to vote on who gets an extra vote for Player of the Week. But yeah, thanks again.
Wouldn't this be Mukhtari's second vote if he ends up winning?
Yeah.
Let's say I thought he won earlier in the season. So yeah. Let's go. Vote Mukhtari. Let's get a chance to replace Robert Lewandowski.
I think that was last year's. No. No, wait. No, because MLS actually.
This year's.
Yeah, it's this year's.
Yes. Wow. Let's go. We have a chance to replace Lewandowski. Let's go.
But yeah, I mean, Lewandowski has not. I don't think has gotten up. I think right now on top is actually a tie between Erling Haaland and Pedri, because Pedri had a really good start in 2023.
We might not catch a Pedri or Erling Haaland at this point in time, but we can try Mukhtari.
But yeah, and then obviously now Messi blowing people away has actually gotten up also in votes as well. But yeah, so congratulations to Hani Mukhtar, Erling Haaland, and Dani Olmo for being our players of the week. Once again, go ahead and vote on them on Instagram and Twitter at InsertNameFC. Also, thank you In the Clutch again. Go check out intheclutch.com. Use the code InsertName at checkout. Save yourself 10% off your purchase. All right. Games to look forward to this coming weekend. It's also going around in the leagues, not necessarily in the major leagues or in any major tournaments going on right now, but Galatasaray is taking on Trabzonspor. They're two very well-known teams in the Turkish league. So go ahead and check it out. It's really cool the fact that they're doing this really early in the season, but check that out. Wrexham has not gotten a win yet in League Two.
Just need one, Wrexham.
So they are going to try to get their first win against Swindon Town. So we'll see how that works out for them over there. And Malmo is taking on Djurgården. So those are some interesting matchups.
Speaking of Zlatan, that's Zlatan's home club there.
Yep.
Even though, fun fact, he does not own a piece of that. He owns a piece of another team in the area in the same league.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So despite Malmo having a statue of Zlatan, he said no. I will not purchase part of your team.
He's like, I'm too invested. Obviously, the 2002 FIFA Women's World Cup final is this weekend. Make sure you guys watch it.
2023?
That's it? Oh, God dang it. Okay, no, I didn't say it, but it was another thing where I typed wrong. But the Women's World Cup, the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup, the final will be this weekend. Make sure you guys watch it to see who becomes the new World Cup winners, because women's national
potentially first time World Cup winner for one of these teams.
The U.S. women's national team got eliminated in the round of 16. So
what are you gonna do? You talk all that smack beforehand. Look what happens.
Yeah, they came in way too cocky, and I don't blame them for being cocky, but Yeah.
This team like okay, so this team with Malpew is a different story. This team without Malpew, not that good, honestly. Like I was a little worried with all these young talented strikers they're bringing in because they just kind of are goal poachers, and nobody's like actually capable of creating a goal from that set of strikers minus Alex Morgan.
Yeah. I think you can't depend on athleticism anymore. I think also the competition just got better, and that's also because they expanded to 32 teams. But the competition definitely got better. I mean, look at Sweden. And Japan, unfortunately, they obviously got eliminated by Sweden, but Japan was also very good in this tournament.
The Dutch squad, I mean, very good as well, but eliminated.
Yeah. So, and I mean, Spain, me and Edward were wowed by Spain in the Euros. England,
and by the way, Spain's doing this without their best player.
Yeah,
right now. So this is impressive.
So, yeah, Women's World Cup has been so much fun. So go ahead and see who ends up lifting the trophy at the end of all this, which I honestly think is probably one of the best Women's World Cups that I've got to watch, which is impressive because it's very early that these games are coming on. Also, another final is happening, and that is the Leagues Cup final. This very interesting tournament that has now expanded to every team in Liga MX and MLS is finally going to have a conclusion. Does Messi carry Inter Miami? Jesus fucking Christ. Does Messi carry Does Messi carry Inter Miami all the way to the final? Well, obviously I don't know now, but obviously at one point I will know. But we'll see what happens.
Say no with the way him and Busquets have been playing right now. I mean,
can Philadelphia, say F you to Inter Miami? Or does Monterrey make Mexico proud? Does Nashville?
Does Mukhtar get another Player of the Week nomination?
Yeah. We'll find out this weekend.
On the next episode of Dragon Ball Z.
In Major League Soccer, obviously, Leagues Cup is over for a lot of these teams. So in leagues, the teams that are not continuing on, we have Columbus Crew versus FC Cincinnati. So hell is real is this weekend. It is a huge, huge rivalry. Both teams are doing really well this year in the MLS. So we'll see how the MLS kicks back up with a huge rivalry at Columbus Crew and FC Cincinnati. And LA Galaxy, they made a lot of signings after this during this break. Can it be enough for them to turn things around for them this season? And they're going against Real Salt Lake, a team that's actually done very well so far in the MLS this year. But can they keep this up as well? So we'll see what happens there between these two teams. Liga MX, we got Pumas and Toluca, and FC Juarez versus Chivas. We'll see if Chivas can, all that time that they got to rest from being eliminated in the group stages would be enough to take on Juarez, a team that actually did surprisingly well in this tournament in Leagues Cup.
Like, sorry they ran up against LAFC, but I mean they did a good job to get to that point, and honestly.
Yeah. In Ligue 1, we got Lyon taking on Montpellier, and RC Lens taking on Stade Rennes. So,
yeah, that's Lyon and Montpellier is a fantastic old school matchup for the French league, but unfortunately, there's not a lot to cheer there anymore, except for if you're a Canadian fan, then maybe cheer on Lyon a little bit.
Yeah. In the Bundesliga, we got Bayer Leverkusen taking on RB Leipzig, and Union Berlin taking on Mainz. Also, we didn't mention Bayer Leverkusen, but Bayer Leverkusen also a pretty solid team in the Bundesliga. Not so much.
But they always are solid. They're usually, I mean, in a bad year last year, they finished 8th.
Yeah,
I think it's 8th or 9th. So like, oh no, how terrible! Like we're still a top 10 team, but they just didn't get to go to Europe this year. That's the biggest problem.
Mm-hmm. In the Serie, newly promoted Frosinone is going to take on the champions of last year, Napoli. So that's how they get to kick off their time in the Serie. And Udinese gets to feel the wrath of a very pissed off Juventus team. At least I hope it's going to be a very pissed off Juventus team.
I love the nickname matchup for the Udinese versus Juventus game. It's like the Fighting Donkeys is Udinese and Juventus is the old ladies. Like it's like the old lady versus the Fighting Donkey. Who's going to win this one? Honestly, it's probably going to be the old lady because, yeah. No, I've always loved some of the nicknames when they translate them into English from the Italian league. It's just hilarious.
Yeah. In La Liga, we got Real Sociedad taking on Celta Vigo. Yeah, Celta Vigo, not looking so well after losing their first match, but obviously it's still early. Real Sociedad seems to be a team that can always like just find players. And then
just keep winning.
Yeah, Real Betis, who now has Isco on their team, who performed very well.
Wild, right? Like, how does he end up with Real Betis after all that? Like,
yeah. So now he's at Real Betis after leaving Sevilla. So he went straight to the rivals of Sevilla. So that's interesting. And they're going to be taking on Atletico Madrid.
One of his former rivals.
Yeah. English Premier League, we got Tottenham, a Harry Kane-less Tottenham taking on Manchester United, who actually played today. They played against Wolves, and it was actually a very controversial game because they were claiming that Onana, there should have been a penalty with Onana. But, hey, it didn't happen.
Penalties on goalkeepers. They take them out of the game. I feel like a goalkeeper should be able to punch somebody because, why not?
Yeah. And then it's the battle of the oil money as Manchester City takes on Newcastle United. All right, so Kelcey is frozen for a bit. So...
No, I'm just kidding. Don't. All right, we're
back. All right, the battle of the oil money, Manchester City versus Newcastle United.
I got nothing for that one. There's just a whole lot of oil being spilled somewhere.
Yep. All right. So those are the games to look forward to this weekend. Obviously, there's so much soccer to watch, but if you guys are still trying to get into the game, I think this is a pretty good beginner's guide. Let's go ahead and check those games out. All right, so we're going to go ahead and take one more break, and then we're going to get going with 3 up, 3 down.
Spring has sprung, and our friends at Manscaped have the best tools for some spring cleaning. They've already helped you tidy up all the nooks and crannies of your body's basement, but this year, Manscaped can help you get the perfect presentation on that beautiful face with the new Beard Hedger Pro Kit. Make sure you look your best this spring by using code BELLYUP20 to get 20% off and free shipping at Manscaped.com. It's time to tame your mane with the Beard Hedger Pro Kit. The sun is peeking back out, which means you'll have to show your face in the daylight again. So use the kit to make sure your scruff looks award-winning, whether you got glorious beard flow or some smooth, sleek cheeks. The kit starts off with the Beard Hedger, a waterproof cordless trimmer with a rotary wheel that gives you 20 hair cutting lengths, all with one guard. So no more messy drawers full of add-ons. It also comes with the titanium-coated T-blades that are tough on hair but smooth on your face, leading to a single-stroke efficiency that brings satisfaction one stroke at a time. The Beard Hedger is a high-tech piece of art in a travel-sized package with a long-lasting battery, universal charging, and a strong motor. So what are you waiting for? Save 20% off and free shipping when you use the promo code BELLYUP20 at Manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the promo code BELLYUP20 at Manscaped.com. Focus on the face and use the Beard Hedger Pro Kit for the cleanest look in the game.
And we're back. All right, man. 3 up, 3 down. Obviously, this new seasons are kicking off, so we're always going to do this whenever the new season kicks off, and that is doing a 3 up, 3 down on all the jerseys. Last episode, we did League One. Now we're going to Bundesliga. If you guys notice, this is also kind of where we rank the top 5 leagues. So obviously we did Bundesliga this episode. Next episode is Serie A. So if you guys just want to frame a reference there.
Spoiler.
Yeah, and then the following would be La Liga, and then obviously the last one would be the top league that we think, and that's the English Premier League. So just in case you guys didn't realize that, if you guys weren't catching up onto that. But all right, we always start out with Spencer. Kelcey, would you like to start things off with you and me, or you want me to go first?
I'll let you go first.
Okay. So, like I said, I'll go then Spencer, then me, then Kelcey. So, Spencer wants everybody to know for his 3 down, I would still rock these, though. I consider my 3 down an homage to my inner child. So,
interesting. Okay.
So, his number 3 is Mainz's goalkeeper kit. He said, Kummerling. Just say it a few times in your head. You know, it's we're still kids at heart, and we're always gonna giggle at something no matter what. But let me see this kid.
I get it. Oh goodness.
Yeah. We women, ladies, you have to understand. I don't know why I said women so aggressively. Ladies, you just have to understand. Like, we're never not gonna grow up. We're gonna laugh at things that are like Commerling or giggle at 6'9". Like, that's just who we are. But yeah. So that is his first three down. Is number 3 is mine's goalkeeper kit. The first one. His second is Borussia Mönchengladbach's goalkeeper. The main sponsor's logo looks like what to y'all? Looks like what to y'all?
Oh, what? Borussia Mönchengladbach?
Let me see. It looks like what to y'all? Flat X. What? It looks like what to me? The sponsor looks like what? Flat X. Yeah, I think Spencer's gonna have to explain that one to me because I don't get it. Flatex.
Oh, I get it. Oh, wow. Yeah, it really does.
What the hell does it look like?
The EX.
No, wait? The EX?
Normally it's rounded. This time it's squared.
Oh. All right. Okay, all right, Spencer. This is really embracing your inner child here. And number 1, FC Cologne away, because the kid in me and the sponsor's name on front would make people say, that's literally all he said. ...
Yes. I already know because, yes.
Cologne.
Yeah.
Let me see it. Where the hell is it? God, I hate where how German teams are so confusing alphabetically.
Yeah, FC Cologne with a K.
Wait, where the hell is it? I don't see it. Oh, there it is. Riwi. Okay. Oh man, this is where we are. This is where we are. But all right, so my 3 down. Yeah, I'm gonna start off with Bayer Leverkusen's third for home kit. Like, I get that they gotta always have like a black and red kit. I'm just not a fan of the cross. I usually like when they just do like just a red kit with some black accents to it. But yeah, this is just not it for me. It's a little boring to me.
Yeah, I get that.
My second down. I'm always intrigued by Borussia Dortmund's designs, but this home kit for me is just, it just doesn't look like it's finished.
Yep.
Yeah,
kind of like Dortmund at the end of the season.
Yeah. Damn it, where's that word?
I know, that was a good one. God. But it's ironic you say that because it is supposed to be a silhouette of their stadium, which has been under construction many, many years in the past.
Yeah. And my number 1 is, I'm actually gonna include both of them, and that's Borussia Mönchengladbach's away and third kit because it's basically the same fucking thing. I'm just never going to be a fan of when the stripes are just break off out of nowhere. And I mean, kind of go back with Borussia Dortmund, like it just doesn't look complete. These don't look complete at all. If you have some sort of some sort of level of obsessive compulsive disorder, this would definitely like frustrate the hell out of you. I don't have OCD, but this definitely like irks me a little bit. So yeah, so that's my 3 down. So Kelcey,
I respect that. I'm gonna go my first one being Darmstadt's blue and white. Again, it's nothing really against Darmstadt. These are just very League 2. I want some impressiveness with my League 1 jerseys. Like if you're in the top league, you can't be giving me something that looks like it belongs in a Sunday league game. Also, it looks like it says Hacks on the front of it, and that just makes me laugh every time too. So that's my number 3. Number 2, Werder Bremen's home jersey. Nothing really against it. I just don't like the green on the green and then the white with the mint green. It's just a little too much. And it's all vertical stripes. They always tell you as a big guy, you don't wear vertical stripes. Makes you look bigger. Yeah, I get it. I see it now. So I don't like these at all. And then my top down is going to be Cologne's away kit as well. Not for the same reasons. I just, similar to Werder Bremen, I don't like the vertical stripe with the red. And then on the other side, the lighter red with the lighter red. It's just, I don't know. It's too similar to each other. It just doesn't make sense. I don't really like it for what they've done in the past as well either. So those are going to be my 3 down.
All right, so Edward just sent me his 3 down actually right now. So we'll see what happens here. But I don't know if he's going to hop in anytime soon, but I'll go ahead and say his 3 down. His number 3 is FC Augsburg away.
Okay. The black kit, the new black kit. I get that.
Yeah, dang. I saw Augsburg. Not too long ago. Where is it? Where'd it go? Okay, that found it. Yeah. I think it's just because it's just boring.
I mean, you kind of got to look really closely to see the design in it, and that just is. I don't know if that plays well on the jersey.
Yeah. Number 2 is SC Freiburg's home kit. I don't know what Nike's been doing, man. Like it's just. Yeah,
this is training kits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Nike needs to get back into it, man. And then number 1 for Edward is Wolfsburg's home kit.
Really, you didn't like that one? Okay, Edward.
Yeah, Edward.
I guess I get it though.
Yeah, Edward.
If he's a fan of Dortmund, I wouldn't like green either.
So that is Edward's 3 down. All right, Spencer's 3 up. It is at number 3. He has Eintracht Frankfurt's away.
Yeah.
So let's see.
Straight black and clean. It is nice with nice little red and white piping. Mm.
Yeah, that's just class. Like I mean, there's boring and then there's this, and this is not boring. I think this is like one of the few times where Nike does it right. Number 2 is FC Cologne's goalkeeper kit. What's going on with Cologne's goalkeeper kit?
I think it's the. I don't know what's going on with the goalkeeper kit. Third kit. Oh yeah, no, that's actually pretty sick. It's the it's all black with the Technicolor across the top with the hexagon pattern.
Okay, yeah.
That's actually kind of cool. I didn't even see that. Last year they had a really cool goalkeeper jersey as well. So
yeah, goalkeepers. I honestly say have like you should have like the most fun with it. Like just go off with it.
Evidently, by the way, it is a remake of the iconic Denmark keeper kit from the past century.
Oh, okay. That's always cool when they have like a reference. And then Spencer's number 1 is actually a tie between Borussia Dortmund's home kit and Wolfsburg's away. Obviously, I had Dortmund's home kit on my down, so obviously you guys know how I feel about that one. But Wolfsburg, this is the thing that's always weird about me with Wolfsburg. I mean, obviously the black and the green. So yeah, that to me that's kind of clean.
I like it, but I'll be honest, I like their home jersey more than their away jersey. I just like the marker effect of the home jersey.
Yeah. So
I don't mind I feel like I've seen so many Nike jerseys with like the chest as one solid color and then the sleeves around the shoulders with a design, and I'm just like, okay, I'm ready to move on to a new design style, please.
It's just not the best it's just not Nike's best right now.
Yeah.
It's kind of frustrating. But all right, Edward's 3 up is number 3, RB Leipzig's home. Which, I mean, if there's one thing you're going to know about RB Leipzig, they're always going to have a white kit. And, yeah, I think that this works.
Again.
This works.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the away kit.
Nope.
That's just, like, way too much going on. But I think it works differently with the way they do with the home kit. So that's really clean to me. Number 2 is Bayern Munich's third kit.
Yep. Oh, yeah. The black. I don't know if it's the third kit or the away. I think he means the away kit.
No, the third.
Black one. For sure.
Yeah, Bayern Munich's third kit, which is the cream.
Oh, I didn't. Okay, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, that one's clean. Yeah, I like that one too.
The Champions League third. Yep. Okay.
And then number 1 is Mainz away. Let me see what Mainz has.
Yep. Big fan of that one.
You know what? This gives me like Croatia.
The blue and gold.
Yeah, because remember Croatia for the
yeah, that's right. They did.
World Cup.
Yeah.
So that gives me Croatia vibes right there. So, for me, my number 3 for 3 up is going to be. Weirdly enough, I'm going to actually start with Bayer Leverkusen because I love the away kit.
Mm-hmm.
It's clean, but I love that that vertical stripe, that weird vertical stripe where it's just like blocks on blocks. It kind of looks like steps, which for me, I like it, and I like the white out for the logo as well.
Yeah, those ones make sense.
Yeah. My number 2 is, man, it's hard because there's like so many good jerseys, but I'm gonna go with Mainz's away. Like I said, it just makes me think of Croatia from the 2018 World Cup. And I like the gold. The gold definitely makes it it also Real Madrid had the same color setup a few years ago, so it does remind me of Real Madrid.
Makes sense.
And then my number 1, and that's gonna be Bayern Munich's third kit, the cream jersey. I love it. That's gonna be definitely as a matter of fact, that's the jersey they wore in the Super Cup final where they lost. But to me, that's a clean jersey.
You know, I think my only problem with that cream jersey is I'm looking at the reactions to it. So when it gets wet or hot, it turns into a see-through nothingness. Literally, there's like it's somebody highlighted and said Bayern Munich's 23-24 Champions League kit reacts to heat like a plastic bag. Yikes. And I can't unsee it now.
Yikes! All right. Well, when it's dry, it looks nice.
Yeah, when it's dry, it looks sick. Absolutely. So I'm gonna go with my top 3. Number 3, I actually have Bayern's away kit, so the black one with the world design out of the purple and green diamonds.
Mm-hmm.
Just I don't know, something interesting. I like when they do something cool like that in the sublimation.
The whiteout badge also. I always like when they do something like that.
Yeah. So badge matches the chest, which matches the logo. Absolutely love that as well. Plus, I like purple as an accent color on a lot of jerseys. I've talked about that before. Purple is one of those things as an accent color. I think is fantastic. That's gonna take me to my number 2. I'm gonna go Union Berlin's green and gold. That's just chef's kiss. Grew up a Notre Dame fan. I always wanted green and gold stuff. This is just one that just speaks to my heart. I absolutely love it.
It also makes me think of the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yes, yeah. It kind of looks like one of their shooting shirts before the game. Kind of does.
It's crazy that they got Paramount Plus as their sponsor. I think for me the only thing that like kind of ruins it for me is just the badge.
Yeah, I wish their badge was different, but I get not wanting to change that badge. Mm-hmm. It's so historic. It's so old. I get that, but at the same time, I'm like, please.
Or at least have like make it white out or something like that.
Yeah, just help me out a little bit. Yeah. And number 1, I'm going Mainz's away navy and gold. I just like everybody else. I just love that color scheme. It looks fantastic. Just clean as all get out, and the fact they actually use the gold in the logo as well. Love it. Yeah,
so that is 3 up, 3 down. If you guys want, you can mention like your favorite jersey in the comments. Also remember, this is also on Goals TV, and there is like where you can comment on this as well. So you guys can tell us right there as well. So yeah, that is 3 up, 3 down. That is episode 140. We want to give a shout out to the Belly Up Podcast Network. Follow them on Instagram and X at Belly Up Media and Belly Up Sports. Check out their website, bellyupsports.com. Great articles that are constantly being written. Obviously, right now we're in baseball. Baseball season has kind of been the hot topic going on lately. But obviously, NFL is coming up. Preseason is going on. So there's a lot of football coverage as well. So if you guys want to be in know for that, constantly there are always articles coming in every single day. So go ahead and check that out. Shout out to Goals TV. Obviously, if you guys are watching this through Goals TV, thank you so much, man. We're really excited about this partnership that we have with Goals TV. It's just really cool. So if you guys don't know, Goals TV is essentially a Netflix, but for soccer content. So you can see all the content that you want to see that's soccer specific. We're really excited to partner up with Jose Tellez. I think his vision and what he wants to do in as far as like showing the world what real soccer fans are in the US, not Stephen Che's dumbass comment about how to improve the MLS from Barstool Sports. That was, oh my God, that was an atrocity. Guys thinking that free kicks or penalty kicks. The cringe. Like, I get it. Like, I get why the rest of the world thinks that we're a joke as a soccer fan base, as a football fan base, soccer fan base. I don't give a shit. But I get it. I get why they think that there is not enough care in the game. But in the all reality, there is legitimate fans of this game. Like, Barstool is not a direct representation of soccer in America. At least the dumb side may be a better representation.
They are far from your average American soccer fan. They are the furthest thing from your average American soccer fan, honestly.
They are cringy. Like, this is somebody that like loves that, like Big Cat from Barstool is like a big inspiration for me. But when he talks about soccer, I definitely like kind of don't listen to it because I already know it's a load of shit. But I understand that like soccer media in the US is just not great, but Goals TV has a lot of people that love soccer, not only in MLS, USA, like not just that. Obviously, like us, we cover majority of the leagues in the world. Mostly the Power 5 in Europe, and also we cover MLS when we can. But it's just, I think more so is just like for them to understand that there is a soccer culture in this country. It's just, obviously it's not the most popular sport in this country right now. But Goals TV is helping that out, making sure that there's people that can actually finally get the content that they're looking for, that they're searching for. And that's why the main reason why me, Edward, and Spencer partnered up with Goals TV is for that, and that reason alone. And we love it. We love all the content that's being out there. Go check out all the soccer content that's out there as well, that's in Goals TV. You're going to find something that you like, whether it's someone that plays FIFA, whether it's someone that talks about MLS, or maybe there's a specific team in the MLS that you only want to hear about. They have all that for you. Shout out to Riley, who's been covering the Women's World Cup. His show right there, I've been watching that nonstop. It is really cool. I really like it. He's been getting some great guests for that as well. But yeah, if you guys want to know more, follow Goals TV at goals.tv on Instagram and at goals_TV on Twitter/X. So lots of great stuff, man. I like I said, it's not just me. Belly Up Sports is also behind us for joining with partnering up with Goals TV. It's not only a big part for our podcast, but it's also a great representation for Belly Up Sports as well.
Oh yeah, no, we love it. Like, I'm glad. I've never been happier to see that you guys teamed up with Goals TV. It is absolutely an exciting opportunity. I know, maybe I'm biased. Maybe I'm biased because I love you guys' show so much, because I love the soccer side of things so much. But look, I absolutely love it for not just you guys, but for, obviously you mentioned Belly Up TV, or Belly Up Sports. Look, it's a way to get out that it's not just one or two soccer fans in the network. Look, I cover everything but soccer mostly on my show, but this gives me an outlet to talk soccer and talk the sport that I love. So, it's a great thing to see for sure.
So yeah, if you guys want guys with passion just like me and Kelcey, check out Goals TV. So the subscription is free. It is literally free to subscribe to Goals TV. So I mean, there's no excuse. You just download the app and you just have a huge library of soccer content in your pocket. So go ahead and check them out, man. Obviously, you hear the intros and the outros. You hear someone that somehow makes me and Edward singing voices sound dramatically better. And that is because of Roosevelt Spencer, the namesake of the Roosevelt Spencer's Player of the Year award. He has been so influential for how we've been able to grow as a podcast, because, I mean, you need to have a good intro to really get people to pay attention. And Spencer does it so much for you. So if you guys have a podcast, or if you guys have a YouTube channel, or maybe you want to get into music, Spencer is your guy, man. Like, I'm telling you right now, the biggest thing that kills a lot of podcasts is when you guys get hit with copyright issues. And so why not just try to avoid your chances by trying to use a Taylor Swift song and just get an original beat, and it's going to be a sick beat. So if you guys need that, hit up Spencer on Instagram at thatguydope. He is going to respond. He's really good about responding back to his emails. So hit him up, man. He's going to do so well for you. If you guys love our beats, well, hit up Spencer. So much so, Kelcey also has even used Spencer's services.
Oh man, love Spencer. Loves him to death. Absolute darling when it comes to helping us out with the music. I know I called him a darling. I'm sorry, Spencer. I didn't mean it that way, but you know what? Like, he knows what he's doing, does it well, does it professionally as well. I mean, look, we may call him Spencer. We may, it's Mr. Spencer at the end of the day. He is an absolute class act to work with, and he puts on some of the sickest beats out there. You got to look for podcasts. You mentioned it. Nobody wants to get hit with those DNCs. They cost you a lot of money. A lot of money and a lot of time. You got to take down every episode that has those sounds in it. So just avoid it. Get it out of the way. You're going to save a heck of a lot of money by using Spencer over paying those DNC fees. That's for sure. So definitely reach out to him. See what you can do with him. And honestly, you'll get something that you'll love forever.
Yep. So once again, Instagram at thatguydope. All right. So that is episode 140. Obviously, unfortunately, Edward wasn't able to finish the episode with us, but you still got to hear some of his great takes. I'm sure that laughing part is going to be a great reel. But yeah, man, from me, Edward, and Kelcey, thank you so much for listening. Catch us next week for episode 141. There's gonna be a lot of soccer to talk about because now all the leagues are playing. So get ready for that. And we gotta recap the Women's World Cup and Leagues Cup. So there's also that for you. So thank you so much for listening. Also, I mean, I can't believe I'm doing this. I forgot to do it. Kelcey, obviously, thank you so much for being on the show. Tell the people where they can find you.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that. Yeah. You can find me at high_low_sports over on X/Twitter/ the artist formerly known as Twitter. I don't know how you want to say it. And then everywhere else, you can find us at high_low_sports on social media and on YouTube there. We're putting out new content all the time and live episodes every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Then you can catch us on any platform, any podcast platform after that. The next day at 7 a.m. our episodes will be up. So we try to put out as much content as we can. Like I said, we cover everything but soccer on the show for the most part. We'll talk about it a little bit, but this is really where I get to let out this bug, I should say, that eats me alive sometimes by not being able to talk soccer every day.
Yeah. So make sure you guys go ahead and check out Kelcey and DJ at High Low Sports, especially if you're a fan of other sports, not just soccer. I believe you guys already did your prediction episode, didn't you? You guys are doing your predictions.
Yeah, we're starting. Yeah, we just started actually our series. So we do this every year going into the season for the NFL. We do division by division. So we go. Last week was AFC, NFC West. This week coming up, we going AFC, NFC North, I believe, followed by the South and the West, and the East to end around it out. Or it might be going East. We'll switch it up every week. Who knows? But yeah, we do it leading up into the final week where we then give our predictions going into that week as well as our award winners as well. We've done some pretty good ones in the past. Yours truly predicted the Broncos sucking last year, so that's always a good feather in the cap to have. So, we'll see what we can do this year.
All right, so if you guys are a fan of a NFL team and you want to see either your team get destroyed by one of these guys or maybe get some hope, go ahead and check them out. I will say DJ is a Colts fan, so I always take his predictions with a grain of salt. But obviously it's also with the reality.
He also hates the Colts half the time too, so yeah. it's tough.
Well, for quite some time, the Texans had a guy named Jack Easterby for some odd reason, and it was definitely really hard to like that guy for a while. It's actually really great now to be a Texans fan, and nothing has happened yet. So, but there's hope. There's hope in a young CJ Stroud. So we'll see how that happens. But obviously, thank you, Kelcey. From me, Edward, and Kelcey, thank you so much for listening. Catch us next week for episode 141. All right, take care, guys.